Well, hello everyone, it's Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps, and welcome back to the Casino Gaming TV YouTube channel for this Season 2, Episode 10 of Craps Chat Live. It's a roundtable discussion about the game of craps and whatever else we feel like talking about. Sometimes we talk about all kinds of crazy things, but we never know until we get into the show. So real quick, guys, a couple rules up front here. Everybody is welcome to join the show. To join the show, all you have to do is go down to the Zoom link, or better yet, let me put that up here. Let me see if I can just go ahead and put this one up here. Can I put it up here? Will it allow me to put it up here? Let's see if it will. Well, we'll do it this way. You can join the show very simply by hitting this link right here. This link right here will get you there. Let's see, will that do it? Come on. Do it for me. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. It did not do it. Anyway, guys, go down to the Zoom link. It figures something would mess up. Hey, guys, I got a couple people waiting to get in on the Zoom side. If I don't know your name, if you've got it marked as an iPhone X or something like that, I can't let you into the show. You're going to have to send me an email at midatlanticraps.com. Jeff at midatlanticraps.com. I'll check the emails. If you verify who you are and your phone name, then I'll let you into the Zoom. But you got to put a name on your phone that I recognize, otherwise I can't let you into the show. But look, guys, tonight we've got a good panel set up already. There's a couple people already in the green room. We want everybody to join us, whether you're a YouTuber, whether you're a craps enthusiast, or just somebody interested in a game of craps. The best thing to do is just jump on over here and come on into the show. I mean, you don't have to show your face on Zoom. You can just do audio only. Some people do that. But without further ado, it's time to get the show started. And I'll bring back with my guests, my co-host, my cohort, Dylan from Skill and Luck, the creator of the show. So let's get this show going. Well, hello everyone. I'm back with my cohort there, right there. It's Dylan from Skill and Luck. Good evening, Dylan. How are you, my friend?
Great, just great to be here for another Saturday edition or Sunday edition of Craps Chat.
Are you a day early? Are you a day early? It's better than being a day late.
Day early, day late.
But
day
look,
early, day late.
I actually got it to work. What I was trying to do in the chat before we got to the start of the show is the Zoom link is in that chat screen, guys. Scroll all the way back up to the top, the blue area. It's pinned. You can hit that Zoom link and come in, and I have to let you in. So wait a bit. And if I don't recognize the name, I can't let you in. So you're going to have to send me an email at jeff@midatlanticraps.com. Tell me who you are. Tell me what the phone name is, and we can let you in. But we want everybody to come on the show. So, Dylan, what have you been up to, my friend?
Oh, just hanging with the wife. Well, that's a good thing.
There's nothing wrong with hanging with the wife. I mean, I try to figure out when John has time to hang out with his wife. You know, it's just
my wife. I set my wife away for the weekend. I am flying batch all weekend right here. Yeah. Her and Allie are actually down at college. It's Allie's orientation weekend, so they're down there doing orientation. They're 5 hours away. I'm like the casino this morning, the casino tonight. I took a long ass nap. It's all good. It's all good. Pants are optional.
That's really nice.
It's great.
Has it been all craps, or has it been craps and work since she's been gone?
I've done a lot of work. I'm kind of behind on some work. So I did about 7 hours of work yesterday and about 4 hours today. But I did go up and do a coffee run this morning, and I'm going tonight after the show too. So I get some Johnny time.
You are a workaholic. I don't know how you fit everything into the show, but welcome to the show. We know we've got a couple people over on the Zoom side of the thing. We'll bring in Chris and Craig in just a minute. I got a couple other people. I don't know who they are, so I'm going to have to kind of sort that out once we get into the show. I wanted to be able to show this. Churro just showed up about, I don't know, probably a little after 8 o'clock my time, which would be 9 o'clock your time. And so that would be a bit unusual for Churro to then I got to find it again because he just said hello room just a minute ago. Just like literally 5 seconds ago, he said hello to the room, and I had that queued up, but I don't know where it went to. But Churro was first here. We got 35 people watching. Hopefully all the software is working, all the bells and whistles are working today. Guys, if you have a question for any of the panelists or you want to get started, two things. One, put a capital Q in your chat, and I'll queue it up for later on, and we'll get to it. If you want to go over to the Discord, CGTV Discord, and put a comment in the Discord under the Craps Chat Show, I have that ready to be displayed on the screen as well. Not in a fancy way, but at least we'll be able to see it. So you do have a couple of ways to be able to ask questions of the panel tonight. The easiest thing is to come on the show and join us. Isn't that right, John?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we definitely want to get people here, but a lot of people put comments in the chat and they're asking questions, and we don't pick it up. So I've got people like you and Dice DJ and a couple other people's doing monitoring the chat for me. Now I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to our other screen here that has our guest on it, and I will give you a warning up front there. There's somebody I let in, Dusted one let in. I really hope it is Dusted. I hope it's not somebody impersonating to be Dusted, but we're gonna let him into the room here, and we're gonna go ahead and switch this channel over here to this screen here, and let's go ahead and make sure that their audio is live, and we'll say hello to our panel guest today. First of all, in the room, Chris Dice Dejan. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing well, Jeff. Happy to be here.
I'm glad you came in early. You're always on time, and you're on the spot, Johnny. Not to be confused with John, who's never mind. We won't go there. Craig, Old Bay Craps. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fine.
Thanks for having
me. Anytime. And Dustin, how are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing fine tonight.
Okay,
Am I coming through?
Yep, you're coming through. Everything's good. Just make sure you have anything on the background with YouTube, to turn it off, so that we don't get an echo there. Welcome to the show, guys. I haven't even been seeing if there's any questions yet, so I have to go back and take a look at it. We've got a whole slew of chats that are here. Let's talk about craps and what went on this past week. Quite a few things went on. John, you had some interesting shows this week.
Yeah.
For the Friday night fights went a little different this week. You did the crapsy thing of it. I think some people liked it, some people didn't. We got the reigning king. Let's see, he would be that way over there. Yep, there he is. There he is right there. Craig, four weeks in a row, two-time winner, or four-time winner, however you want to look at it. And then just a little while ago, Ed finished up his next series, part one, with Heavy, Steve from Power Access Group, and it went well. I know he had some audio problems, but they're going to reshoot take two. So a lot of craps, a lot of people going live. Everybody from Brian from Hawaii Crap Shooters. Big AZ's back in town. He's doing his nightly thing. You got Alfredo doing his nightly thing, me doing my daytime thing. You got Jay-Z doing his thing, Churro doing his thing, Craig doing Come Beat Old Bay Craps. A whole lot of craps going on. Whole lot of craps. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. We do have a question here. I mean,
whole lot of shaking.
You're what?
There is a lot of shaking going on.
A lot going on, yeah.
Whole lot of shaking going on. Plus, fresh off DiceCon, I don't think we talked about it. Was the show after DiceCon from our last show? Maybe we did talk about that.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple things coming up. John's got a meetup, and then we've got Crapsathon coming up in November. So, John, while I take a look at the chat over here, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on? We'll start and end the show with your meetup and what's going on with the Crapsathon.
Sure. So the meetup is easy. That's going to be September 15th, 16th, 17th here in Seattle. I was just talking to Ian today about the itinerary. We're looking at a Friday evening, so Friday the 15th, that evening playing at Snoqualmie Casino, which is about 30 minutes east of Seattle, about 30 minutes south of my house, actually. It's going to be a $5 private table for us. I think it's going to go from like 5 to 8 or 4 to 8, something like that. And then we'll have dinner at their steakhouse, which overlooks the entire valley and a couple of mountains. It's a pretty amazing, once-in-a-lifetime kind of a view right there. Saturday morning, we'll come to my house. We'll do a little bit of a pre-funk in the morning. Then we'll drive up to Tulalip, which is our other local casino, but in about a half hour from me. That's the one that's got that weird glass tabletop with the felt on it that I keep talking about. So y'all get to experience this thing. It's pretty freaking cool. But we'll practice at my garage first because you got to get a feel for it. I have a replica of it here at home. And then we'll drive up there. We'll play a private table up there for a few hours. And then Saturday night is going to be basically drinking and swapping lies. That's kind of the plan. There is hiking around. There is mountains to climb. There is all sorts of, falls and water to see. It's going to be kind of a couple of scheduled crap sessions, but really it's about just kind of coming out here and just hanging out and having fun. Jeremy's going to be here. I hope you're coming. I'm trying to talk Ed into coming. So,
I got my fingers crossed. I've committed to Crapsathon, so 2
I know.
trips out
Well,
west
that's
within a week.
the more important one. If anybody, and for all of you, this is kind of a thing. I'd love to have you out here. It's super fun. We're going to go to a Mariners game on Sunday, but if you got to choose one or the other, go to Crapsathon. I think it's more important that Crapsathon is packed. That thing has got to be huge. And it was fun last year with the 15, 20 of us that were there. That with 40 people is going to be amazing. The whole thing is going to be live in the place. We're not going to do any call-in guests this year, so everybody's going to be live. That thing needs to be huge. So I'd love to see you here at the house and hang out and do our thing, but I really want to see it at Craps for the Cure in Vegas.
Yeah, got the fingers crossed. I did talk with you earlier today. There's several channels that are out there that are raising money. Several YouTubers and people that are donating things for the Crapsathon. I don't want to toot my own horn, but we've exceeded last year, and I see Justice Jen's here in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and ask her a question. Adam said to you when you were here in April, were you going to match me again this year, Jen? So I can't release the amount that I've raised so far. But I will tell you that it exceeded last year, so I'm going to put that out there to you. But we've got the Churro trying to raise some money. We got Dice Dr. Dan put some nice things together. We've got your table and your felt is going to be auctioned off. Is that or not your old setup?
My old felt's going to auction off. And while we're here for the Seattle meetup, we're going to do a pass the rack at the table. So the 10 or 15 of us that are at that table, we're going to bring up a $100 buy-in past the rack thing there, and all the money raised from that will come to Craps for the Cure. I'm trying to get the casino to match the wins on that one. That's a conversation Ian and I are going to have. But picture 8 people at a table. You get the rack and the hook. You buy in for $100 into that rack, and you play that rack. Next shooter, you pass the rack with whatever's in it, and all around the table it goes. We all get a crack at it. We all put $100 into the rack and try and build that thing up. And I want the casino, hopefully they will, match our winnings. And that'll be, live play, actual money, and that'll be a pretty cool donation from our group here in Seattle to get it started.
Well, it would be. It looks like I may have opened up a can of worms because I'm going to go ahead and put this one up here. Churro's put up there that he's raised $206 so far, and then Duracell put up there that he makes a motion for Jen to match me. I don't want to put her on the spot, Duracell, but hopefully we're going to raise more than we did last year. If I'm not mistaken, John, somewhere around a little over 16, close to 17,000.
Last year was $16,800 and change. This year goal is 25, and I plan to have the woman who runs the service that raises where she trains the dogs on the show to talk about what it is, what she does, how much it costs to raise a dog. You're going to get an exact number. We're going to know 25,000 is going to put X number of dogs into X number of vets' homes. We're going to know exactly what we do.
Nice.
The money goes right into it this year. It's not like it's going to random, as much as I appreciate what the ACS does for cancer, and as much as I appreciate what the National Council on Problem Gambling does for those who have a gambling problem, this is going to be so much more tactical, I think, and more. We're just going to see the results of it. So, I want to thank Adam, New York Strip. Adam is the one who hooked me up with her, and I think this is such a great cause. I think this community doing what it does. So I'm just the conduit. I'm honored to be a part of the whole damn thing, and it's going to be pretty cool.
Well, I think Adam's probably still rolling some bones at the moment, but I've been communicating with him over the weekend. They've had some good sessions and some bad sessions, but go back to the point. Veterans Day weekend, the 11th and the 12th in Vegas, and if you mentioned it, I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at something in the chat. The daytime, it's not 24 straight hours. It's a couple hours or a lot of hours on 2 different days, correct?
That's right. It'll be 12. It'll be open and closing hours at the mall, Saturday and Sunday. So I think it's like 10 to 7 on Saturday and like 11 to 7 on Sunday. It'll be about 23 hours total live time, whatever that adds up to be, whatever those total hours are. But we can't go overnight again like we did last year. And frankly, overnight, we had 2 of our coolest sessions ever in the overnight, but we didn't raise any money. because nobody's awake. So it's just better to be there, when we're all up and at them and people can actually watch. So that's the plan. I think it'll work out a lot better that way.
All right. Well, we'll probably circle back around and talk about Crapsathon again once for some
Sounds
reason,
good.
once we get about an hour into the video or into the show, we seem to peak on our viewership because of the time difference, because we have East Coast and West Coast time. Here on the East Coast, it's 9:15 already, and on the West Coast, obviously, it's at 6:15. That's the reason why after this show, you're going to go jump some dinner and head to the casino. I'm going to actually jump in bed, and I have an early morning because I am actually heading to Atlantic City in the morning for a couple days. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So let's go to our panelists. Dustin, welcome to the show for the first time. How are you doing?
Super.
All right. Are you here to listen, participate? You have some questions or some comments?
Just listening right now. I appreciate the fact that you're doing stuff for the vets. I have a very interesting story to tell you if you want to hear about it. It involves the vets, and you guys can look it up. It's called TakeMeHomeHuey.com. It helps disabled vets with PTSD. But the story about it is the Huey helicopter during the Summer of Love in 1969, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, my cousin was killed in that helicopter. He was a bartender at one time. Well, it's a great cause. And he was a bartender, but he was a medical student too.
Yeah.
And he requested to be put towards the front and be a medic and work in a MASH. And his helicopter went down on the Summer of Love, Valentine's Day, 1969. And this guy found the helicopter in a boneyard in Arizona, and he made it a work of art. And
so go ahead
if you guys want,
can you give the name and the website again? Or the title?
It's TakeMeHomeHuey.com.
Okay. All right.
So it's a very interesting story.
All right.
Very cool.
It sounds like it. Did somebody else have a comment here on the panel? I heard somebody speak up. Nobody? Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, Dustin. It's your first time on the show. You're welcome to be here. I hope you participate in some of the questions that we have here. We got Chris and Craig. We'd like to have more. Let me just go over to the Zoom side just to see if I have not let anybody in at the moment. So let me check that out here real quick. No, the other people that were here left because they truly weren't real people. And we know what happens when we let some people on the show. Man, we get to see some sights, and we like to be able to take care of that. So we do have a couple questions coming up here, guys. I've got one off of the Discord. I haven't checked it back yet, and it comes from Kevin. I'm not sure what his username is, but he's the one doing the poker over there on the CGTV. John, he asked a question for the panel tonight. Kevin the Carpenter. There it is, Kevin the Carpenter. So I think we'll start with his because we're waiting for a few more people to get in here. Maybe we can have a little bit of a little bit of discussion about that. It doesn't necessarily deals with craps. It does deal with the casino, and I'm going to put it up here in a funky way, but I'm going to display it for you guys just so you'll be able to see it without causing too much trouble. It's going to cover you up here, but here's the question. A question from Kevin for the panel tonight. What other games do you play beside craps, and what other games interest you? So we know that he's interested in poker. So what games beside craps do you play, and what other games interest you? We know that he's your poker guru, or the person that actually is talking about poker a lot in your CGTV Discord, John. I actually like anything that has nothing to do with slots. I can't stand slots. I play a lot of table games. I do play roulette when I'm cruising, but not typically in the casino. But I do like the game Mississippi Stud. And my friend Ed and Ken from Ken Knows Gambling has got me so interested in baccarat that I'm enjoying that as well. So there you go. Let's start out with the Dylan. What do you do?
Craps is my almost exclusive game, like 90%. The other 10% would be baccarat. So that's the two games that I like. So I hate slots as well. I'm not really great at blackjack, even though I would play it. But that's not to me. I like the banker, and going up and down, with my bets on that, with that, and so that's what I prefer. That's what I like.
All right, John, you love crapless. I know you do.
Come on, man. Did you see my video for tomorrow? Tomorrow's video is actually literally called F the Casinos. That's the name of tomorrow's video, and crapless is part of that.
Should be
funny.
a tattoo.
It should. I might have to get one. I may have to do that. No, me. I love roulette, and I really love baccarat. And I like. I'm going to say this. It's going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I don't like games where they just tell me if I win or lose. Like I hate slots, right? And I really don't like blackjack all that much, and I don't like Mississippi Stud and 3-card poker. All those games are just like, here's $25, and I'm going to turn around and you tell me if I have money left or not. Like I hate that feeling at a game. Slots, I might as well write them a check and see if I get money back. Like that's kind of what that feels like to me. Baccarat kind of is like that, but baccarat is so streaky. I love the fact that baccarat can get on these really crazy streaks, and you can make money in a streak if you're betting it right. And that's the reason why baccarat to me is different than those other, let me know if I won kind of a game. And I think that's the coolest part. I love baccarat. Roulette, I know that it's a folly, but like craps, you get to put money all over the place and think you're making a decision and have some impact on what's happening. Like it's like you're still getting your butt kicked in just a different way. I like that. And Keno, somebody says Keno in chat. It's the same thing, right? Keno is like you're putting shit all over the place, like you're hoping you're going to win. But yeah, I like baccarat. I like the streakiness of it. I love roulette. Just I think I can beat that game, and I know I can't. But it sure as hell feels like I'm doing something. So I just like I like having I like doing, you know what I mean? I like to be a part of the game, and roulette makes you feel like you're part of it, even if you're not. Versus the other games.
Yeah. Well, I'm like the island, strictly craps, but I do play some other games. I do like Mississippi Stud, or if you're down in Louisiana, they call it Cajun Stud with a little twist there. But I like baccarat, and I watched Ken's video this past week, what he did, the 5 count, and I like that. And actually talked to Ken on Saturday afternoon for about an hour and a half. We don't talk that often. He's not here tonight. He said he might pop in, but he's not here at the moment. But let's go down to Craig. You're a new craps player for a year or so. What other games do you like in the casino beside going to the Asian Noodle House and having lunch with Jeff?
I do love that, and I just want to say real quick, great microwave dialing. I think I have the same one downstairs. That's nice. Nice background drop. I was a fan of roulette before craps. I'm also, and I've played on Chiro's channel for roulette and against John, and they both saw that I love to play 20 and 17. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's the middle of the board, but 20 years ago, I played it online when it was legal in Maryland, and for $50 in, I won 2,500 playing those numbers. So it is possible, but I haven't really played it since. And then 3-card poker. I like 3-card poker. With that one, you don't know if you're in or out of it right away. So I kind of like that. I'm still timid to go sit down at Texas Hold'em. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I'm not that great of a poker player. I know how to play. I play often with family, but as far as sitting down and trying to play against other people, I probably have 6 or 7 tells.
Yeah, poker's my second favorite game of all. I've been playing it for a number of years. As a matter of fact, six or seven people that's here in the chat, I've played with them for probably 20 plus years. One of them for longer than he actually had. Well, we won't talk about that. Let's go over to Chris and see what Chris says about his other casino games, because I know when he's shooting dice, he makes girlfriend Dejan get away from him, and she comes down and stands next to Clay and me.
I don't know if I make her get away or she just wants to go talk to you because you guys are more interesting. But yeah, so other casino games, blackjack, I play a lot. I like poker. My problem with poker is I don't have enough time to sit there and wait for a game and wait to play. So I typically play poker online unless I have a ton of time to kill at the casino. Then I'll play poker in the poker room. But I like baccarat a lot. I play roulette occasionally. But always, always, always on the sports bets and horse bets. Might not be technically a table game. Well, it's not a table game, but it's still a casino game. I spend zero time playing slots because they're useless and worthless, and they should just be taken out of the casino. But yeah, craps and blackjack are my main table games, and then sports betting would be the probably what I do the most of.
All right. So, Dustin, what do you do in the casino beside craps?
I used to be a blackjack player. Don't do it much anymore. I do play poker quite a bit. I have cashed in the World Series of Poker a few times. I do like sports betting. I enjoy dogs, horses, and believe it or not, I like to play Keno with my woman.
Oh, you just busted on John for Keno. I thought that you were saying that no Keno, no Keno, no Keno.
No, I'll play it with her once in a while. It's interesting. It's better in slots, but I don't play blackjack much anymore, and I don't much care for the World Series of Poker anymore. There's too many people that get paid off to play in the game, and so many people get in through satellites for free. If you're just going to do it, put the money up if you want the bragging rights, But that's about it.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that. I'm going to put this up here, what John just put. They asked Chris and me what was the poker ACC, pretty much 20-somethings now. Actually, John, it's a mix. There are a lot of young people that think that they've been watching, as Dustin said, the World Series of Poker or the World Poker Tour for years and think that it's an easy game, and it's not. I actually, in the 90s, came in ninth place in the New England Poker Championship at the Foxwoods. Kind of like got me really highlighted into gambling. But I've lost more than what I won from that tournament. I can tell you that playing poker. That is for sure.
My brother said it's pretty much Jersey Shore. He's like, I just can't stand being at those damn tables. It's just nothing but gold chains and swearing. And he's like, it just sucks the fun out of it. So he stopped playing.
But they suck at poker.
And he was pretty good, and they suck at poker.
do.
He's like, it just takes the fun out of it for him. And I'm like, I get it. Like I'll never play it, but for somebody who actually cares, like he did, turned him off.
Well, we have a couple more questions in here, guys. If you're interested in coming on to the show, the link is in the. Oops, that's the wrong button. Sorry, guys. Let me hit this button up here and bring you back over here. That was the wrong button. That's what I get for not paying attention to what I'm doing here. You want to join the show? That's the button I meant to hit. It's in the link in the chat. It's in the description below. Come on over and join us, just like Dustin, Craig, and Chris have done. And we'd love to have you here. But if you're going to ask a question, please use the capital Q. If you have something for one of the panelists, please put their initials with an @sign with the PC, like for ProCraps, or something like that, so we can pick up the question. We'd love to have you come on. If you like to, you can head over to the CGTV Discord and put a question in there. I'll be monitoring that. We've already asked a question from Kevin the Carpenter on the show tonight from that. So without further ado, let's head over to a question from... let's see here. This is Mike the Bears. Oops, let me get rid of that one too. There we go. So the question for Mike is, when first walking up to the table, do you ask what is a good roll? I have seen a few tables with signs explaining a good roll. I have never seen a sign. I can tell you one of my locals, the very first number one rule there is when the dice are pushed to you, you have 5 seconds to release them. I've said it many times before. So somebody interpret that question that's here on the panel and have at it. Okay, or not. Anybody?
I've never seen that before. I've had people. I've asked for it. I've been asked to make a proper roll, and I've asked them to define it, and they can't. I know that we have all of us have a common friend who's been asked not to play at a couple places anymore because one die hits and one die doesn't, and although they'll never do it, I have asked to see documentation. Show me the rules. Show me where it's written that has to happen. Or I've been told throw it harder. Like, okay, you got a speed gun on me somewhere. Like, where is it written that has to be a thing? And you'll never see it. You'll see the outside of the parking lot though, I guess if you ask. But I've never seen a sign like that. They always keep it close to the vest. They'll just tell you when they think that you didn't do a good enough job, they'll let you know.
Yeah, I know Clay is in the chat here, but he has a story he could probably tell. He may not want to tell it from this past week, so I'll let that go. But anybody else can anybody else help us with that question there? I'm not quite. I don't. When first walking up to the table, do you ask what is a good roll? I guess John, you probably explained it the best. You know, hit both dice got to hit the back wall. You know.
Well, and some of these tables, like I don't know if you watched the video that Jeremy put out with us playing at Ellis Island, that bouncy table. And I rolled the dice like 5 or 6 times. I don't think I hit the back wall one time. That table is, well, actually, no, I didn't. I didn't because it was such a trampoline. It was like, I can't even describe that surface, but the first 2 rolls, both dice went off the table as soft as I could possibly throw them. And then after that, they were checking up, and I never hit the back wall once. They actually told us at Ellis Island that you don't have to hit the back wall at all on that table. That surface is so bouncy that they let us know up front that it was not required to hit the back wall. The guys like the table itself is its own back wall. That's what the dealer told us.
Wow. I have not played at Ellis Island since they changed it. So
my local up north, Hollywood Casino, they've actually said to other people, as long as you show effort in your throw, it's okay if they don't hit the back wall. But not like the time Chris and I went, and this elderly lady couldn't get it past the prop section, and it was considered a roll.
They still let her go.
Yeah, well, we told Chris you were there when Clay had that roll. They didn't even make it in past the hard way center action prop bet. He threw a 9, and Clay went to grab the dice and bring them back because they slipped out of his hand and pay the players. And then he told us the very next time, do that again, and if it's a 7 out, it's a 7 out. So
yeah,
that is the way that it goes. Ron, welcome to the show. Ron from California Craps Club. You turned your video off. That's okay. You just go ahead and say hello to us.
Thank you. I'm just glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Good to see you, Ron.
So, anybody else got anything that can answer that question from Mike the Bears about walking up to the table? I'm gonna go ahead.
I feel like if you asked that question ahead of time, wouldn't that kind of put a red light on you? Like if you say, "Hey, by the way, what's the minimum requirements for making a good roll?" Like now you got everybody's attention. Like I feel like you may not want to come out with that.
You're like, I like to throw them back right here on the table. Is that okay?
Yeah. Is that okay? No. So you can't do that. Oh, damn it. Like, shit.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Real quick for Dylan, here's a question for you, Dylan. I put it up a minute ago. You leaned in. Did Joy kick you out of your other chair? It seems like you might be sitting in the kitchen today.
I'm in the kitchen, which is on the first floor. The attic. We've got a kind of a air conditioning problem going, so that the air is not really flowing up there. I went up there last Craps Chat, and as you could tell, my iPhone completely shut down because it was so hot up there that it overheated, and so I came back downstairs and had to plug it into the kitchen. So I wasn't even going to mess with it. So we've got an AC problem up there that we're in the process of addressing. So I'm stuck in the kitchen for a little while, or temporarily.
All right. Well, if you'd like to join the show, guys, there's the link. It's right there. It's in the chat, pinned at the chat, or in the description below. Or you can go to crapschat.com. There's a little green button on there that'll bring you into the show, just like Chris, Craig, Dustin, and Ron have done. So we'd love to have you on the show. Another question here. Let's go over to this question here. I do have to put this out here. Churro's not on the show, but he's in the chat. And I wish Churro would join us tonight in the Zoom. Come on, Churro. You got to come in here. Corey,
shirt is required, though.
Wants to know, when is Churro getting kicked out for showing unsightly sights? Churro, for those of you that don't know, went shirtless a couple times, and on the last week's episode, a couple people went shirtless. But oh my gosh, Churro, please! It's like me taking off my shirt right now. Holy cow! I don't want to see that. Anyway, I had to put it out there for my good friend Churro, who is doing a fundraising on his show on his channel for the Craps for the Cure. It's called Spin the Wheel. And it's a fun show. I haven't participated yet. That's time just hasn't suited me, but we'll get around to that. So let's go over here for the panel. Let's see. That's a mid-mo. We'll come back to that for the YouTube questions. I'm going to avoid Arnell's question at the moment and move on. I don't know if he's picking on me or not. So let's go here to this question, and I'll go back and see if we have any more. So I can't read that. So give me a second, guys, to make my screen so I can read it. Do any of you play craps online on tables with a wide limit of 50 cents to 5K to use that to your advantage? I don't play craps online. I can tell you that Vince Armenti is missing because that's what he's doing right now. Him and a couple other people are doing some online stuff, from what I understand, pretty good at it. I don't play online craps, so anybody else in the panel, or if you're out there on the chat side, put in there whether you play online or not.
I don't think it's legal yet throughout the whole.
Certain states, yeah.
Okay, so there
It's
are
legal in Pennsylvania. I play it occasionally. I play it sometimes. I prefer to go to the tables and actually play. But they do have the 50-cent minimum up to a $5,000 max bet. I have an issue sometimes with the dealers on that, so I tend not to play it too much. They're technically supposed to put the dice in the way the dice landed and just put them back in. Some of them set the dice to what they want to set it to. Some of them don't square the dice off in the arm. For those of you who haven't seen it or haven't played it, it's basically a mechanical arm that swings from the end of a table. The landing zone is very consistent on the table. My issue with the whole thing is it's really up to the dealer to put the dice in there. And if you watch some of the dealers, some of them put them square, some of them don't put them square. And what happens when they don't put them square is that the dice fly differently, which if you're a dark side better, it usually works out for you. But it's I know it's all random, obviously, because it's the arm, but it kind of gets me with how they put the dice in sometimes, how they load them. But it is nice to be able to play basically bubble craps, on the computer, and actually, win money and stuff. So it's definitely cool for that. I've played it a handful of times. I've done well sometimes. I haven't done well other times. I've tested strategies doing it, but it's not my favorite thing.
Question: Can you request a dice set? Do they have enough? And also do the dealers have enough time, or are they on a timer, or how does that?
They're on a timer. They're on a timer. So you can't request dice sets. Now sometimes dealers if you say you want a 4, sometimes dealers will put a 3-1 on top. Not that it does anything, but they'll do something. But yeah, some dealers like to set numbers, some don't. But you cannot request a specific dice set. They won't put it in there. That way, there's one guy who always puts in a 3V every single time, regardless of what the dice were. But technically speaking, they're supposed to put them in exactly how they landed on the table.
Yeah, that's a shame. I believe when Big AZ did his cross country tour here, he played at that casino where they pushed the dice back. He couldn't even turn them one way or the other, and all he wanted to do was set 4-3 on top and just roll them down around the corner.
That was at Parks.
Yeah.
I was in my local.
Yeah.
They suck. I hate them now, by the way, in case anybody wants to know. Parks
Tell us how you feel.
is such a shitty casino. Don't ever patronize that casino. All right, they're on my blacklist. Not going there ever again. I will tell all of you why very, very shortly. There'll be a video out this week on it.
Put out shorts, man. I'm telling you what, Chris, I'm on a freaking jihad right now. Tomorrow's video for me is going to be all the reasons why I F the casinos, and that's what your story is one of them. People need to start voting with their damn feet and not going to these places and not patronizing bullshit games.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Now, I'm with you, man.
Mine happened on the regular table. I know big AZs happen on the roll to win table. My dad has gotten into almost physical altercations at the casino on the same roll to win table for the same issue. I have said multiple things to dealers on that roll to win table. They do not let you even like cradle the dice. You can't do anything with them. They literally expect you to slide the dice, pick them up, and like throw them. But if you do something that the dealer finds somewhat not to their liking, they start bitching and moaning at you. Meanwhile, you're a slot attendant, all right? Get the hell out of here telling me how to play craps. You're a slot attendant, all right? Go sit there and spin your little wheel, get the stick out of your hand, go back to what you're good at, stay off the craps tables. But yeah, Parks is on my shit list.
So do you consider that because of poor training, or because they're not dealers, or they're not proper dealers, or what do you attribute that to?
They're not understanding of dice setting, because that's the thing, right? All Big AZ wanted to do, you can't set the dice on the table. They don't let you. There's a sign that says no dice setting, right?
Oh, okay.
Their definition of dice setting changes based on the person who's at the stick, right?
Oh.
So some dealers will let you kind of manipulate the dice. Now, if you understand how the dice work and you understand what the faces are and everything, you can get away with it with some dealers. Now, some are so anal about it that if you like pick up the dice and they even question it, they'll make you pass the dice. You don't even get like a warning. They'll make you pass the dice immediately.
Wow.
Yep. Well, Chris, tell us how you feel.
I could go on and on.
Sounds like John's gonna have some good stories too this week.
Right. Oh man. Well, it's normal stuff. Just like I get pissed off, like at why I'm not gonna say it yet. It's only not even 1 hour in yet. Why are they charging you a freaking park? Like that's the kind of stuff that just goes up my ass. Like that little thing, to me, it's just I just get pissed off. Anyway, I have a question though, a follow up to this whole discussion, which is the evolution craps thing. Duracell made a good point out there, by the way, which is the crappy camera angle. Is it being cheated? But the question is this: if and when, and I'm sure it's a matter of when, not if, they put a camera over top of a real craps table at a real casino, like at whatever, at Harrah's or something, and they let us do a crapsy-ish kind of a thing against that table. So 1,000 people are playing against an actual live table with humans rolling and dealers out there. Would you play that online? Because I'm nervous about playing stuff online. I don't trust anything that's got any kind of a computer touching it. That, though, I think I would probably play. How about y'all?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
It's annoying with evolution. What?
It could be slow if you're betting against a live table. It might be 3 minutes. But, as they're paying real bets, you have to wait. But at least it's real.
Fine though, because like I know a lot of people have an issue with evolution, for example, right? So this is what I was saying with the dice go different directions sometimes when they come out of the arm. Like they have to ask the upstairs to switch the camera angle, right? And you're sitting there waiting for the camera angle to switch anyway because the dice isn't in view, so you can't see what it is. Now, is somebody touching it? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. The stick's supposed to call it out anyway, and then they get the new camera angle and stuff. But there's other issues with paying out bets properly. I know Vince had some problems with that. I've had problems with it. I got into a whole thing with FanDuel, about 50 emails back and forth about proper payment on bets and different things. But yeah, I don't know. They have other limitations on evolution that they might not implement in like a real-time game. So like, for example, in evolution, you can't lay anything on the come out. So you can't lay a number on the come out roll, right? Your odds are maxed at 2-1 regardless what the number is. So like if you put a $5 bet out there, your max odds are $10. You can't do anything more than that, regardless of what the number is.
You can't pull bets down, right? You can like turn them off for a roll, but only one roll at a time. But you can never pull them down. Is that true?
You can pull them down. The problem with pulling bets down is you're on a touch screen or on a computer, and you got to click the chips and swipe off. Now, hopefully, you swipe off far enough that you don't actually place them some other place on the table, right?
God, yeah. Whoops.
So that's one issue with it. And the other issue is, like Dylan asked, are you on a timer? You are on a timer. So if you don't get your bets down in time, your bets stay up there. Now, you can turn them off, but if you turn the bets off, you turn all of them off. So you can't just like say you want to turn a singular bet off. You have to take that bet down. You can't turn if like let's say you're across, you turn all your across bets off. Now, obviously, contract bets stay up.
Right.
But yeah, like the pull down process is not easy, and if like your fingers are somewhat sticky, on an iPad, you might not be able to pull it off in time. And on a computer, I mean, if you can't click and drag at the right time, you're in trouble.
My God, can you imagine dropping like a $200 place 5 into the field by mistake?
Oh yeah, I've done it before.
My God,
and I've thought I've done it, and it like doesn't pull off all the way. It's annoying. It's annoying. I'll be honest with you.
Wow, that's interesting. You guys, I've actually learned something tonight. So I think we took care of Duracell's question. I'm going to go back to something that Ed mentioned here in a minute ago. We'll come back to that in a second. I'm going to put this one out here just because Dan's here tonight, and he put 2 things in there. He said that he paid $40 for valet at Harris. So, John, there's a part for your rant for the $40 at Harris for valet. I think it takes like a Diamond Plus or Diamond Elite at Harris not to have that parking fee. But I wonder why Dan put this question up there. I'm kind of being sarcastic at the moment. But, for the panel, when was the last time you played craps, and did you use any strategy or a fly-by-night seat of your pants? Now, that's not the one I wanted to put up there. I wanted to put the one up he asked about the hair. But we'll go ahead with this one. So we'll go ahead with this question now. When was the last time you played? It's been... when I was in Atlantic City last month, do you use a strategy? I play no light-sided strategies. I play no light-sided strategies. I play no light-sided strategies. I do play hybrid and dark-sided strategies. I'm a trend better. If you haven't seen it, that's the way it goes. So if you're going to call that a fly by the seat of my pants, that's a big pair of pants. All right, who's next?
Yeah, I'll go. It's been about a month or so before, for me, probably more than a month. And I'm playing bubble craps, and I do strict. I am a hedge better. I usually either play 6, 7, 8, or my lay 9 and my DP, and then bet across with whatever the point is not. And so taking the lay down after when the point's established. So and that's my general thing. Or I'll just play inside. So it'll be one or the other, depending on what the trend of that I find that's developing is how I'll usually do it. But I'll start out with the hedge, the 6, 7, 8 thing at first. But that's normally how I do it, and that's. But I'm playing low ball, playing for quote unquote fun, and about a 500 buy-in, 400, 500 buy-in, and I'm there to make, maybe 100 to. My goal is $100 to $200, and then get out of there, But honestly, about 75% of the time I can pull it off. So, it's a little skill, a little luck. That's what it is.
Skill and a little luck.
Wow.
Well, John, we know you're going to the casino tonight. So, John,
I went
you're
this
going
morning
tonight.
too.
I guess since your wife's been out of town, you've been a couple times this weekend.
Yeah. I went today, actually. Yeah.
Cool.
And I did. I did what I always do. I started off with the horseman until I figured the table out, and I literally it was only me. So I, horseman and a little bit of Latterson with it, and about 4 or 5 points I had pretty short, and I made a little bit of money. And then I was trying out some 130 across stuff. Today I was literally playing around. I wanted to see, once I felt like I was throwing okay, how that felt at a live table. So I did a 110 inside and $10 4 and 10. And I did the press and pull on the insides. So I got my 54 across for free. Basically, every time I
Up,
tried it
down?
after I got warmed up.
Were you up?
Yeah,
Were
so
you
I did 110. I was up today about 2:30 or something like that. It wasn't a lot, but I was really there to see the casino, get some pictures taken, and sort of feel the table out. So I wasn't really there for very long, but maybe I was there for maybe 45 minutes total. But it was only me,
About
so
what-
I
It's about
yeah,
what
I
I'm
set
at my
and
local court.
sevened out like 7 or 8 times in that short amount of time. So
Right.
when it's only you, man, the dice move fast. It's your bets. They got me down. It was like 15 seconds between rolls today. So
Right. So let's head
Fun.
back down to. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
that's it was
you
fun.
have
It's
something?
fun. It's fun to play when you're all by yourself. It's fun to play. Like that's how I did it at Harrah's and during DiceCon. It was like these little solo sessions all the time. It was great.
I loved it at Harris
I would-
because
I
I'd
would-
love to go down there. 1 or 2 people at the table, unless you're at nighttime. I'll put the question back
Yeah.
up. Let's head down to the bottom, and we'll get Dustin to answer the question. Dustin, when was the last time you played, and did you use some type of strategy, or do you fly by the seat of your pants?
I played last night. I hit 3 casinos, and I do not fly by the seat of my pants. I play the same strategy regardless. I play a hopping strategy that everybody knows. Nobody knows how it goes, but that's what I play. I've been playing it for 10 years. I made about $700. I didn't use any ABS wagering. There was only one time I had an opportunity, and that was like on a come out roll. But basically, I walked away with 700.
All right,
So
nice.
that was
Let's-
last night.
All right, nice. I haven't been. I'll play tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. I mean, Ron, when was the last time you played, my friend?
Well, Jeff, I play every Tuesday and Thursday because my local
Nice.
casino 7 times the bonus on that. And we did pretty good last Thursday, up about 250. Came in with a $200 bankroll, and I played the 6, 7, 8, and the table. I wasn't rolling; another guy was rolling, and he rolled pretty good. He had about a 25 roller, and I was on the 6 and the 8, and capitalized off that and the 7 when he 7'd out. So I made about $250, and I got my 7 times points. So I was happy. But yeah, every
Nice.
Tuesday and Thursday I go to my local casino, is about 5 minutes away. So
Okay.
trying to build those.
Cool.
Nice.
Nice. Let's go up to Craig Obey.
Hey.
You've had a couple outings in the last couple weeks that I know of. I know you went to Philly and played with the Philly Connection there, your sidekick to your
Yeah, I'll
your
let
stage left.
well, Chris put out a video. We really did a recap on the next morning's Crapsy morning show that we did in John's place since he was away, and we gave a report of that. That was a horrible experience, which probably led into Chris's next one, which Chris is going to tell more stories from Parks because he loves Parks. You can just hear it in his voice.
Well, I'm actually saving Chris for last here on this question, so go ahead.
I played last time I played was last Sunday on my birthday, which is the second consecutive year I lost. But I played. Ed had a recent video of a recent shot of the week where he talked about his $19 DP and placing the point. And so I took $100, had some slot free play, and I was able to get it up to 150. But then I took a couple of chances and still went home with 0. But it got me thinking about, I can start going more often with just 100 than trying to scrape up 300 to 500 to go once a month. So I'm going to start doing that and start to teach myself better discipline and when to walk when I reach 150 from 100. So it's a good little strategy. When I went, I added 9 action. So I did hop the reds for 2 each, did a $2 yo and $1 on the midnight. So if any of those hit, it was an extra $3. And then with Ed's strategy of the DP plus placing the point, you win between $1 and $5. So it's a grind. But I was able to stay at the table for 2.5 hours. So that was nice.
Nice.
Well, let me go. Let me just ask you this question, Craig. We'll switch gears just 1 second. I'm saving Chris for last here on this question because he's going to tell us the story afterwards. Your reigning of the Friday night fights, 4 weeks in a row. You're two-time champion. Somebody has texted me and they didn't want to put it in there, and it's somebody wanted to know, is your head really that big? Because they wanted to know, how do you feel? How do you feel being that four-time champion? I'm hoping you're going to tell them to step up to the plate.
I can tell you this is what changed. So now that I'm telling you this, I might not be reigning champion after next Friday, but I started to do this. I started to mark down everything in each round. And trend betting, combined with what I learned when I beat Corey. So it's been working, and I'm going to keep doing it.
All right.
The biggest change I've seen from Felix, I think I've dealt you like 3 times now. I think the biggest change I've seen is that you're no longer trying to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, which you've done twice. Right? By just going by like there's this feeling people get when like they're up by a lot that they got to keep betting. Like huge, and trying things out when you're up by 800 chips with two rolls to go and still losing. Like it's a pattern that I've seen a lot of people fall into in that game, and you've gotten more conservative and more targeted, and I can totally see it happening. I can almost feel what you're going to do or where you're looking at. Yeah.
It's hard to play. I've played Potter a few times in different areas, and it's hard to beat him because he does tend to follow you, quote unquote, with betting. And so it's like, well, if he's betting more than I am on the same bets, what am I supposed to do? So it's, because you're always going to you're going to be the shooter or they're going to be the shooter. So you're going to see their bets first or they get to see your bets first. And that's part of the challenge of the Friday night fights or any kind of tournament competition. But no, I didn't do, I haven't, I guess I kind of stopped doing what I did with the last time I played you, John, in the March Madness, which is rail dump on the last 2 rolls, and things just happened to hit. But it just wasn't enough when I played you. But it was very close.
Even when you played Nemo, I think the first time you played Nemo, I think it was back. I forget when it was. I dealt you. I was like, why is he doing this? Like, stop betting. Like you were hopping a bunch of stuff when you didn't need to. And I think you were maybe starting to do some trend betting then, but it was like a little too much at the wrong time. I think now you're getting way better feel. Like to me,
when I got raked across the coals, that was against Vince Armenti. I had him.
That's right.
I had him.
Oh yeah.
I was up 100, and I just completely switched gears, and I don't know why. Yeah.
Well, I think you were trying to do the thing, right? But now I think your feel for it now is different, and maybe it's because you're logging stuff out, but to me, it just feels more tactical what you're doing than what it used to feel, and I think that's kind of cool. That, like, everybody feels it. Yeah, we're all watching it. That's
And I can tell you, and I know Jeff would appreciate this, is that people that say hybrid, you can't win with hybrid. Go fuck yourself, because you can totally win hybrid play.
Number 1.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Okay.
My goodness. Yeah, there's several.
That was a big pipe bomb right there.
I'm sorry, darling. Cover your ears.
Yeah.
Wow. So look, I'm going to go over here to Chris, but before I head to Chris, and let me go ahead and bring him up here. And I don't know if this is going to look right when I get this up or not. But guys, if you want to join the show, it's in the chat. It's in the description below. We'd love to have you on. There's somebody waiting. I'm going to let you into the room here in just 1 second, so hang on there. Chris, you answer the question. When was the last time you went? Which I think I know the answer. And did you play a strategy? But I want you to tell us the story, if you can, unless you're saving it for story time, of what happened with your recent outing.
Look, he already has a Philly face on.
All right. So Craig just dropped the first F-bomb of the show. I dropped about 10 at the table today. Now, as you guys know, I can get pretty opinionated with things. At the table, though, I'm pretty low-key, unless somebody really pisses me off, and some guy really pissed me off today. But to answer your question, the question itself, About 4 hours ago is when I left the casino. I was there for about 2 hours. So I played today. I was up a little bit at the end of the session. I was playing with Lou, Steel Legion in chat, for those of you who don't know, and Anthony or K9 Comp. We were at Harrison, Atlantic City. The strategy I was playing was like a don't pass, 6 and 8, and then I mixed a few DCs in there as well. And then there was a guy who was throwing a million horns, so I just started betting the horn, and he was making me money betting the horn. But the story of today and why I dropped so many F-bombs at the table. So Lou was shooting. He was shooting from stick left 2. I was right next to him on his left, but he was shooting stick left 2. About 10 rolls in, guy straight out on the other side of the table buys in the middle of Lou's roll. So, we have to wait for the buy-in to happen. And then he is late on every single bet. I'm telling you, not one singular bet made it to the table in time. Everything was late, and every bet was hop the reds, 7s, and this guy was chanting 7s at the end of the table every roll Lou had. All right? So I turned my bets off. I couldn't deal with it. I was trying to just tell Lou, fight through it. You got it. Lou turned his bets off. And I was like, Lou, just stress-free here. Just relax. You're good. Throw it. It's all good. We're all off anyway. We pulled our odds down. We literally had just the pass line bet. Little did you know, Lou snipes the point. We're good to go. This guy's an asshole, though. Anyway, I get up to shoot. Stacks a million chips in the don't. Yelling 7, 7, 7. Much to his chagrin, I PSO'd, so that was great for him. Then Anthony was shooting next, and he was causing a bunch of problems the entire time. Same thing. Late bets, constantly saying 7, hop the reds, whatever. And when Anthony threw his 7, this guy cheered so loud. Like, so loud. Like, the whole casino looked at him, basically. So another guy was up to shoot. He did whatever he did. Now it's this asshole's turn to shoot. He gets up to shoot. I asked the dealer, how high can I stack a pile of chips? And they looked at me and said, as high as you want without them falling. And I said, can you color this stack of 100 into whites? Now, they wouldn't do it into whites, but they did it into reds. So I stacked reds up on the don't, and the guy threw. Dice hit the table. Both die off the table directly into girlfriend Degen. I didn't like that, obviously. Lou goes, are you going to apologize? And language is coming, so if you want to cover your ears, go for it. But I said, no fucking way that dude apologizes. He's an asshole, and he can go fuck himself. The dealers were crying. They were laughing their asses off. They hate this guy also. So anyway, he throws the next number, gets his point set. So I take another stack of reds and stack them up on the don't. So now I got towers just on the don't. And I'm generally a very, very nice don't player. I will get my chips out of your way. I will never cheer on a 7. I will never root for your 7. I'm just there playing what I'm playing. Got my DC set. Had my next DC in there. And the guy throws a 7. Now, before he was throwing the 7, mind you, he went full light side on himself. Before he threw the 7, he said he never throws 7s. And I said to him, well, every roll's got to end on a 7 at some point. And he goes, just watch. I was like, all right, I'll watch. 6-1 comes up on the next die. I start cheering. Lou starts cheering. Girlfriend Degen's breaking out the pom-poms, cheering. Anthony's cheering. This guy looked so pissed off. So all his money was taken down. I was getting paid. I took my chips, pointed at him, and said, fuck you. And colored up.
Oh,
love it.
That's the best, man.
God, I miss Philly.
Yeah.
God, I miss Philly so bad. Jeez. That would never happen in Seattle. Seattle would be like, oh, pardon me, sir. You're You're so awesome. And
I so wish Clay was there. If Clay was there,
great.
I mean,
So great.
if Clay was there, oh my God, I would have pissed myself.
Did he rebuy in, or what happened when he lost all of his money?
He was up a little bit at the time, and then I left. He was literally at the table for like 20 minutes. At that point, just causing a million problems, and I left because I had to get home for one, and two, I didn't feel like dealing with him anymore because he looked like he was a little drunk. He was showing off for I want to say it was like a $5 hooker he bought. I'm not sure though. His girlfriend,
$2.
He looked like a $5 hooker to me though.
$5,
and
make you hot.
You might
He was
not have
betting
half
table
the play was
minimum.
there then.
So
wow.
it was a great time. I sincerely thought he might come after me in the parking lot, which I kind of hoped he did, but he didn't. Probably better for him. But anyway, yeah, that was my story of today. I was positive for the trip, and definitely will not forget that casino trip. It was great.
I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, that story is second in compared to the one he's got to tell on story time.
That's a good one too. That's a good one. It's coming out this week. Maybe I'll release it tomorrow.
All right. Wow. Yeah. That was. I saved you for last, Chris, just for that purpose of the story. You didn't tell us the entire thing in the green room, but you did make for the most part, the major point on that. So wow. Anybody want to tell us how you would handle that person? I know when we were in Biloxi, we had the lady screaming in Adam's ear, although she was calling for the point to be hit, but she was 2 sheets in the wind. She was having a good time, but damn, she was annoying. I offered her $100 to leave, and I don't think she heard me. I did. I offered. They'll tell you. I offered her $100 to leave. I'll give her a black chip. And the girl with her, kind of, when I said that, she kind of tried to restrain her. And I looked at Adam. I said, "Is she bothering you?" Adam goes, "No." I'm saying all you had to do is say yes, and we would have solved the problem. But it is what it is. Oh man.
See, that's the same when Adam he was going at a guy for Clay, but he wasn't bothering Clay. I don't know. Do problems follow you, Chris?
No, not generally. I'm usually pretty quiet. I mean, you've played with me. I was quiet the whole time, pretty much the most part. I don't get involved unless it directly affects me or a friend that I am there with. And only if it starts bothering them. If it doesn't start bothering them, I don't get involved. Lou was getting annoyed, so I started saying some stuff. And then, he threw dice. Was he throwing them directly at my girlfriend? I don't know. I'm going to say yes, because he just took them and beamed them. I don't even think one hit the table. I think one just straight hit her, and then every other toss after that was different. So I don't know what he was doing, but yeah, he can go shove it, and hopefully he doesn't get any diseases. He might want to go get checked tonight or tomorrow.
All right. Well, this is a crap show. It's not a $5 make you holler show, but I guess we've heard worse. Hey guys, if you want to make a question,
the viewers and opinions on the show are that of just the people playing.
It's in the fine print in the description. It's in the fine print in the description.
Sign a waiver before you watch the show from now on. That's what's going to happen.
There you go.
Really. All right, guys, we need some questions here. We've got a couple more queued up. We've got about another 50 minutes on the show to go today, so we'd like to have some good questions. If you want to try it, it's real simple. I'm trying to encouraging people, John, to get them over to the Casino Gaming TV Discord and sign up over there, because not only can you ask questions here and see a whole slew of channels. Maybe I should do a description of the Discord here one of these days. But
really, you wanted you to bring him some walleye?
Who did? I'm sorry. You're going to have to mute yourself there, Dustin, anyway. So if you want to join the show, you can. Ask a question, you can. Capital Q. Put it in Discord. I would like you to go over to Discord. I'm just looking here. John's at 375 members in his Discord. Great group of people over there. And we're up to 1,280 subscribers on Casino Gaming TV. And John, towards the end of the show, will get you to talk a little bit more about the whole.
That's been work
whole
right there.
CGTV. Yeah, there is. So let me see if I go over here to the queue and hit this question here. Which one I want to go back to? A couple of them in here are kind of like sarcastic. I saved them to the end of the show. I'm gonna go back and put something up here that Ed from Roll to Win did. Ed and I did a live recently together, a dual stream on both channels, and we sort of talked about trend betting, and we got a lot of people that said they followed along what we were doing, but they didn't quite understand it. And so somebody asked a question of me, and Ed, what is a good roll? And a good roll is 10 box hits with the 2 craps numbers, and that's his first thought. So my question for the panel here. Don't give me the average roll of 6 to 8, or don't say 20 or 30 roller, but what do you consider a good roll while you're playing? Everybody can make money on the long roll, but what do you like to see? I can make money decent money on an 8 roller. I turn a profit at 6 as long as I'm getting box hits and not all outside horn numbers. But let's talk about the panel there, and we have somebody else that's joined us here in the Zoom, so I probably should go to them here in a minute. But let's go ahead and start this one with Dylan. What do you consider a good roll? Don't tell me a 39 roller.
No. To me, I can make money on a 4 or 5. It does, because what I'm really wanting to do is bet higher than the minimum and get a hit, any box hit of whatever I'm aiming for, and then immediately regress to whatever to make sure that it's already paid for. And do the snowflake. I'm a total snowflake. I will cop to that. I'm a total snowflake. Yes. And so I want to get in. I want to get out for the hand and have it pay for itself. And that way I can start my half press snowball, which is a cousin to the snowflake. So that fits right in with me. So. That's it in a nutshell. So if as long as I'm getting 2 hits or 3 hits or whatever, I can make money on 3 or 4 hopefully 3 or 4 rolls, as long as they're not completely way outside. If they're doing horns and stuff like that, then I strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. After strike 4, then I'll start to kind of panic and rethink that should I come back down a little bit. I'm there with a game plan. Betting higher. Betting higher than what I need to start with to lock in a profit, so I can immediately regress after just needing 1 hit. And I don't want to stay out there, for 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, and risk that. So it's not worth it to me. I want that 1 hit, and I want to come down immediately so that I can lock up a profit and be the snowflake that I am, and I'm perfectly happy with that.
Okay, Mr. Snowflake, we appreciate your answer. I'm going to put this one up here before I head over to John, because I'm going to ask him next. This is Darksider, who is, I don't want to call him your nemesis during your show, but, he obviously, his name tells it all. He can make money on just 1 roll. It just needs to be a 7. So, John.
He and I are great friends. He and I are good friends.
I know you are. I know you are.
Yeah, I love him. I agree with what Arnell says in chat. Actually, to me, and skill. Just so you know, I play the same basic way. Like I like to go up and down, quick, and get the hell out. Right. What I'm looking for from that point on is 1 number to repeat. I don't care what it is. If any number repeats, right? I'm a double tapper. Right. After I get even, I'm like full press. Something has to repeat for me. I don't care if it takes 2 rolls, or like Ed says, 8 rolls. Doesn't matter how many rolls it is. Give me something to repeat, because that's a black chip every time, and that's how I'm looking at it. Like once I pull a black chip off the table, then I really am in who cares mode. So to me, a good roll is 1 number repeating, and I'm always going to pull a black, and I'm happy with that. That's like goal 1. So I don't
Well,
care how
I
long.
don't
Sometimes
really-
it takes a long time. You know, it can take
Yeah.
2 horns and 2 outsides, and it can take forever to get it. You know, I hate that 6-7 roller where it's like, you know, the 6, the 8, the 4, the 9, the 10, the 3, the 2, and the 4, and you're like, God, it took like 9 rolls to get one thing. Like that's a horrifying roll for me. Just give me the,
Right.
All right.
you know, stay on.
Let's
But if
stay
you're
on
doing
target.
inside, yeah. But if you're doing inside, then I once I get the first hit and I'm locked up, I'm not stressing over looking for repeat numbers. I don't care. I've already done. My magic's already performed, and I'm already I'm in the stress-free zone. So
Some
I don't
profit.
care.
I just want.
What,
I want a meaningful hit. Like I want to be like, you know, down and out for $9 in profit. But then I want something meaningful to happen after that, where I can, okay, I racked a black, I racked 2 greens. Like now, I feel like it was worth it to do all the work in the beginning. I just want to make it meaningful. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Is one meaningful hit per shooter, if I can get it. And sometimes it's the 7, you know. But that for me, I don't put a number on it. Just give me a repeater after I beat it.
Let me head over to the person that's currently throwing dice and just came into the Zoom side of it. Turn your microphone on, David Nemo, and can you answer the question what you consider a good roll and a profitable where you become profit? He may not even be listening to me. There he goes. There you go, Nemo. Speak to us.
It depends. I really don't know. I can't say. It usually it all perspective. Usually, yeah. I really can't say.
All right. Well then,
what
we'll move on.
kind of answer is that, Nemo? Come on. I'm going to press you. Let's press you here.
Look, if you want an honest answer, that's my honest answer. But if you want something superficial, then okay, superficial 5 to 10. But that's superficial.
Okay.
But what is your mark of success? Like, what is it? Like, I gave something specific. Like, I need a number to repeat so I can rack a black chip or two greens if I started lower. What is your mark of, okay, this roll was good?
I really can't say. I usually have moments where I don't have the frequency like everybody else that goes to the frequency on the casinos. I don't. So I can't say much about it.
Is that because of your betting style or what?
Okay, so it's like I said, I really can't tell. I really can't.
All right. Well, he can't tell. We're going to move on. I'm going to go on over to Ron and see what Ron has to say about what you consider a decent roll.
For me, it's like if I get double digits, if I get 10 or 12,
Or what?
Whoa!
make money.
You already did?
Too much Coca-Cola.
All right. Hold on one second. Go ahead, Ron. Finish your thought.
And money.
Ron, and see what Ron has to say about what you consider a decent roll. All right, somebody's got the Facebook. The Facebook. Cool, YouTube running in the background. So, Ron, try it again.
Okay. I need 10 on a normal roll. I need like 10 box numbers, 10 or 12. And I can make some serious money. If it's a PSO, I don't make anything. If it's a couple box hits, I don't make anything. So, I don't know. I try to roll 10 to 12. Double digits.
Okay. All right, let's go down to Dusted and ask Dusted what does it take on your hop system for you to be in a profit? He's got his mic. You got your mic muted, Dustin. I'll give you a few seconds to unmute it. You might not be there. You might slip that up. There he goes.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's okay.
One roll.
One roll?
Usually it's one roll. I can miss on a come out roll, but usually it is. As for the rolls, I would, in a hand, I would count making better than after the point is established, getting more than 5 or 6 rolls. But based on the casinos wanting to get about an average of 54 rolls per hour, I would say if you can hold the dice for 20 minutes and roll, that's a good roll.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah, really. Thank you. I'm going to save Ed for last because I started out with his question. He didn't even know it was a question. Chris, what do you like to see as a decent roll? Where do you turn to profit? What do you like to see? And please don't tell me an Adam 54 roller. Please don't say that.
Well, I think it depends if I'm playing light side or dark side. If I'm playing dark side, hell, you throw one and I don't care. Maybe a 2 or 3, and I'm even happier because I got my DC set too. But light side, typically 3 to 4 box hits, usually inside box hits. I'm out of the hand and I'm pressing from there. So yeah, I would say on average probably like a 5 to 6 roller with 3 inside box hits or just 3 box hits in general. If I'm dark, hell, throw 2 for all I care. You're gonna make me happy anyway.
All right, Craig.
Like Chris, if I'm playing dark side, I'll take a PSO. But I'd like to get a couple of DC sets, so maybe 3 or 4 rolls into it without getting sniped on any of the DCs that got placed. But on light side, I like Arnell. I'm looking for repeat numbers. It would be great to have a good roll. To me, would be a number repeated 3 times. That wasn't the point because typically you won't be your box numbers aren't on making the point. But I've been a part of a good roll that never got to a point for 11 rolls. So I enjoyed the come out. I just kept pressing back and forth between hopping reds and horns. So you can still make money with a good 3 or 4 reds and horns combo.
All right. Well, let's head over to the person I asked a question from chat, and I've heard him say it many times. 10 box hits and 2 craps numbers for a total of 12. Ed, you joined us. I thought you were going to join us tonight, but welcome, my friend. Good show tonight with Heavy over there earlier before Craps Chat. This was a nice show.
Yeah, we had our audio issues. We're going to get that worked out. Give kudos to Heavy. He was the first guinea pig. And we used EV Mux, which I think totally sucks, and that kind of rhymes. So I can say that EV Mux
really
sucks.
I've had good success with it.
No, we couldn't. It was terrible. That was I totally I made him give me my money back. Anyway, I came on for one reason and one reason only. I wanted to give D-Gen a cyber fist bump.
Let me hold on. Go keep them up there. Keep it up there, DJ. Let me add you too. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
There we go. There we go.
Hold on,
we
guys.
got a fist bump. We got a cyber fist bump going with my buddy DJ. I mean, he's like my buddy. He's like my buddy now. I mean, anybody who knows that shit. I mean, kudos, man. Kudos.
Thanks.
Oh, so is that all you got to say tonight, Ed? That's it?
What do you want me to talk about? I can talk about anything.
Well, we don't. Somebody's going to ask you what you're drinking brown water, but you've got another.
Have you tried this yet? Have you tried this one yet?
There we go.
That right there.
So the guy at the store recommended this to me. It was $15, and I'm like, $15? He's like,
there
trust me, it's really, really good.
$15 whiskey, man.
I mean, you're right. It's okay. But he's
What's
like,
the name
this
of
is
it?
like our top rated knobs, Kings Creek. Whatever.
Hold
I think
up
it's
again,
like
John.
I think this is like the shit they run off of at Jack Daniels. Like after they make Jack Daniels, this is what's left over. That's what it feels like. It's not very good.
Seems like a knockoff Knob Creek.
It's like it's
okay.
not even.
Kings Creek, I ain't there. I ain't gonna buy it.
I never heard of it, but every time I go there, I buy one I like and one I've never heard of. Every time I go, just in case I stumble on something cool. So,
you got to be careful when you go to those wine stores to buy whiskey. They're going to sell you some crap they can't get rid of.
They have got like literally 700 whiskeys there. Like it's overwhelming.
No, I went to one in Indiana and they tried to sell me some of the cheapest shit. And I mean, it was like drinking lighter fluid.
And that's what this is. I thought I would give it a shot. I'm like, well, maybe I'm missing something. No, I'm not.
Yeah, I wouldn't even get my dog drunk on that stuff.
How about we take the whiskey the talk towards the end of the show or in the after show? I know Ed won't be here then. But Ed, when is your next Tales from the Table? What's the date?
next Sunday. I'm going to get on a rotation where I'm not dropping them on the night of this show, or I'm going to try to. And it's a quick 45-minute video with a guy named Memo, a true gentleman out of the great state of Texas. I did not do a great job of editing it because half the time my freaking mic wasn't on and I didn't realize it. So I had to edit it way down. But it's a precursor to one of the best shows you're ever going to see on as far as stories, an interesting guy, and that's Gargoyle. And he's a precursor. You got to watch Memo, I think, to appreciate Gargoyle, and Gargoyle is going to be a two-parter, and I'm going to try to drop them every other week. I've got I got a notebook of people that have said yes. I'm going to try to shoot Doza, D-O-S-A. I'm going to try to shoot him this week. May reshoot Heavy's part 2 this week. I don't know. I've got Tabletop 1, 2, 3. He called me during the middle of this show going, I'm sorry I didn't get with you today. There's a lot of guys, a lot of old guys from the day back in craps that are willing to come on and talk. And so that's what we want.
All right. So good. Well, you came on the show. You're here, so now you got to stay. I'm going to go over here with a question from R. Godfrey, who wants to know what sets do you all use for horns on the ATS? Well, I don't set on the ATS, only on the come out when I do that. But my typical one is 1 2 2 1 2 3 2 and a 1 2 and a 2 1 2 4. So we'll let it go at that. Does anybody have horn sets that they use for ATS? Oh, I like that hat, Ed. Oh, I like that hat.
Yeah, I got a fist bump. I got a fist bump from DGN. I don't have a DGN hat, but he's got a hat on. And notice I don't have one of them freaking King Dice flat build caps on. I got me a curved hat on.
You are not cool enough. You are not cool enough to wear a flat
like a guy really wears a hat. Not some fairy tale guy.
Hell no.
Ed, while you're here, tell us about your.
We're pulling hats.
Tell us about your horn sets, Ed.
Victor's hat
that you would use.
Here we go.
My horn sets?
Oh, I got to put John up there. Yeah.
My horn Victor's sets hat. Don't matter because they ain't gonna be nobody else's. I mean, I use a 6-2-6-2 on the come out if I'm playing the world bet because I'm either going to hit 7s, 12s, ace deuces. I might throw a hard 4 or a hard 8. And that's a signal that I got facial control on the front and back. So I use the come out set as a way to find out. Now a 2-3 years ago 2-3-1-2 was a great set for me. I throw a lot of aces with that. But if I find myself on a crapless table quite frequently, I will throw 4-5, 4-6. Sometimes I'll put a yo on top on a a 5-3-6-3. Just depends on which facial control is starting to happen. If you're playing an ATS like all the time and you're throwing a certain set and you realize that I had this happen in Biloxi one time at Harris. I forget what I was throwing originally, but I was hitting a lot of the bottom faces were quite frequent, and I needed aces, and I changed to a cross 6s and hit aces on the next shot because I knew my bottom numbers were a dominant. My bottom faces were a dominant face at that time, or giving me the dominant numbers at that time on that table. So you got to be aware. I mean, it's going to change. You got to be able to adapt a little bit. There's no such thing as a perfect horn set. Oh no, he's got on a cowboy hat. I got to change hats.
I put on a cowboy hat just for you, Ed.
All right, I'll be right back.
I would second that though with Ed's. The 6-2-6-2 is a good horn set as long as you can stay on axis. So that's the whole key. And he was saying, you've got your 12s, you've got your aces, so you can. It's a really good set for horns.
Can I say that DGN is wearing a really bizarre hat?
It's a Miller Lite cowboy hat.
That's okay. I can dig it. It's a little bit crooked, but doesn't fit your head right.
Yeah, it's not. It was given to me. It's not measured up properly, but figured I put it on.
It didn't come from Texas, right?
No, it didn't come from Texas and not from Bud Light.
We don't do Bud Light no more.
No Bud Light. Only Miller Lite.
Or Coors Light.
No light at all. No light at all. Just drink real fucking beer, please. Shit you can't see.
There you go, Johnny Boy. There's number one.
Does anybody make real beer anymore?
I
Just
mean,
drink whiskey
in
and
Seattle.
bourbon.
I know that. Yeah, that's true. But if I'm having beer, it's a porter.
What kind of hat have you got on?
Victor sent me this hat. Victor sent me a newsboy hat. Yeah, Victor said he said I'm old enough now to be able to wear this kind of hat. I don't know if it works for me or not.
Take that shit.
I don't know, look at the door.
My
Look at the papers.
granddaddy called those hats. My granddaddy called those FU hats.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you one of these. This is a good hat for everybody. So y'all should see
Yeah,
this
I like
one here.
that.
I got one of those. I got one of those over there.
Is yours signed? Is yours signed by Arnell like mine is?
No, mine's not signed. He doesn't like me like he likes you.
I've got a signed one in my closet over there. Arnell sent me a few of them. I have an extra one, so I can send out the signed Arnell hat for a small donation to the Craps for the Cure. Yeah, I prefer the bald look anyway. I look way better.
I do not prefer the bald look. You look
look way better.
Bald.
Bald is bad, baby. That's what it's all about.
That newsboy hat is bad.
when Victor sent me those things,
I jump on the show, Jeff, and it just goes to hell.
I mean, I put the hat on. I said I had my wife and her sister, and her sister's like fashion Nazi, and my daughter. And I said, look, if a subscriber sent me this, what do you think? And I pulled this look off, and I put the hat on, and all of them hit the floor.
John, bedazzle that.
Well, I'm gonna bedazzle it. Yeah.
Bedazzle.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I gave it a shot.
Great.
I gave it a shot. So now I'm just gonna rock this. I'm gonna rock the badass bald guy look.
He's got on
Sorry, and I had to change my hat. Miguel told me I was like a Cowboys cheerleader. I had to take it off.
Get back to craps. Let's talk about some.
Getting
Let's
back
talk
to
dice for a
craps,
minute.
Craig, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
With you being king, do you find that that it's easier, to be king because you get your choice? Are you finding that to be? Are you leaning on that more and more?
No, I don't find it easier. I mean, I think what's helped me is not rail dumping, not hopping a lot, and really trying to follow the trends. And for the first time, this whole consecutive 4 times, when it started, it's because I started writing down everything, the amounts, the dice rolls, setting it all up for the 3 rounds and keeping to that and knowing what's happening and then just betting off of that. And it's been working.
Really? Okay. Because I thought being king would give you a huge advantage because you get to pick, to either go first or second. And to me, that's a huge, in my mind, that's a huge advantage. It's forcing your opponent to go first.
For all the people that are wrestling fans, and you've probably heard, if you are a wrestling fan, you've heard Stone Cold Steve Austin say this before and others. It's hard to get to the top, but it's even harder to stay there.
I'll tell you one dadgum thing. I went to Walmart today to buy some Old Spice, and they were sold out. I mean, you can't buy Old Spice. It's on the black market now.
You can't buy the old kind of Old Spice. Now they have. Yeah, you can't buy the old stuff anymore. I want to get a signed Old Spice stick from Craig. That's what I want. I want you to carve your name into the blue shit. That's what I want.
You know what, John? John, I'll trade you for an Arnell signed hat.
There you go. It's a deal. I'll see you in November.
All right. And don't forget, if you need to grease up David a little bit at Casino Quest, he likes M&M peanuts.
There's almost no better.
Can we write off our airfare? We got any accountants out there? Can we write off the airfare to Vegas for this thing?
If it's an in-kind donation, Ed. Your presence there is going to bring money in for the charity. Just you being there is going to bring us money. It's an in-kind donation. Casino Quest does the same thing.
You don't want any bogus money from my folks. You don't want any bogus money from my folks.
No. If you're a YouTuber and you're monetized, technically speaking, it's a business expense. It's an in-kind donation to the charity. Just your presence there. You can write that. You can absolutely write it off.
Write the whole
100%.
trip off.
Write the whole.
Even the gambling losses?
No.
That's right, Chris.
But your physical expenses as a charitable thing, absolutely.
That puts me in the hole for the year.
You are part of the show, right? You're part of the drive, and that's part of it. So I wish we had enough money
in the hole for the whole year if I had to write off my plane tickets because I don't like that.
It's gonna be spendy. That's a tough weekend to be there. It's gonna be spendy, but I'm depending on all of you. I'm depending.
That's a hard.
I really
weekend,
need. I need the heavy hitters.
Now they got that freaking eyeball thing out there in the middle of the road. I might get on the acid trip or something.
Have you seen that thing? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen that thing. I mean, I don't know why they don't just turn it into the Death Star.
They totally will. You know what? There's a place in Seattle. This is so off topic. There's a place in Seattle. My friend works there, where in the middle of their coding area, there's a sphere, like a 3-dimensional sphere that they use. They're a pesticide company, and it shows like where their shipments are, and they turn it into the Death Star at lunchtime.
They ought to do that with that big old
cool.
big old thing I got. Just turn it into a Death Star and have a bunch.
That thing is cool.
Sorry, Jeff.
Flying around, as far as I'm concerned.
Do we have any other craps questions that from our
let's don't get back
audience?
on topic.
No craps.
There's no way we want to get on topic.
Way to pick up the ball, Dial.
I'm trying.
That's why he's the co-host.
Brian Holerroller had a good one, Jeff. You had it up earlier.
Pardon me.
Jeff's muted anyway, so
Yeah, Jeff doesn't have his mic working, so we can just run the show from here.
He's trying to fix this, but he can't. What hat is that? I can't see it.
What's it say, Ron?
California Craps Club, baby.
There you go.
Assign one in the
I'm
mail.
so behind the times. I don't even have my own freaking hat. I got to borrow a hat from Jeff to wear.
Someday I'll have to share. I've got like 190 hats. I have baseball hats. I collect baseball hats. I've got hats. My whole other room is just lined with hats across the ceiling. I got hats everywhere.
Everybody I know this bald has a bunch of hats.
Are those all the hats that don't fit your head?
That's why I went bald. I wore hats all my life, and all of a sudden the hair went away.
I got a long head of hair, and I wear hats all the time.
Yeah. I shaved my head when I was like,
now. I'm wearing mine back
when I shaved it. Oh, there you go.
I'm wearing like Cage.
Let's do it. Let's put the Cage hats on.
Do you wear lifts, Ed? Ed?
Duracell asks us if anyone caught Ken's field Marty strategy. Not yet, but I plan. Ken is going to try and prove, I think, that Marty's he does a Marty in blackjack, but he's trying to prove in every possible game and every possible bet how bad Marty's are. That's what he's trying to do, I think. So that's probably must-see TV right there for sure.
Yeah, we need to get back on the show. Somebody said it. I don't know who it was.
There was a question by Brian Holerroller. It was a good one.
Yeah, I'm looking for it now. I don't think Jeff has audio.
It was about what do you say? The one before that.
It was about betting for the cards.
Yeah.
No. His question was
tipping.
Yeah, I'll read it to you. I have it pulled out here. He says
Sorry, guys,
exactly.
I'll
sorry.
put it up there.
What are your
I
thoughts?
Don't know,
Oh, there's Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I muted myself when I walked out of the room, and then I got three phone calls from people that are here saying, Jeff, if you can't get the show back online, then just turn them off. So I said, I can't turn them off. That's why I went and answered the phone call. I got 6 text messages here.
We're all going off.
Get back on with the show. So let's go back to Brian Holy Rollers question, and then we can come back and talk about hats and liquor and women and $5 whatevers and whatever we got there.
Nobody's mentioned women yet.
We've got a question here. What were your thoughts on betting for the shooter or throwing some chips or checks for a great roll? I tip a good shooter. I failed to tip Craig when we were in Atlantic City, but I did buy him a dinner. And Craig had a good roll when we were in there. I typically tip the dealer. I know the AC groups that when we're there, we'll tip the dealer and tip the shooter, I should say. And we're common for putting up most of chips up there for both the dealer and the shooter at times, especially if it comes back around. So what say you, Ron, on this question here?
I tip the dealer. I tip the whole crew. I play them the whole time. When I'm in, they're in. If I'm on the 6 and 8, they're on the 6 and 8. If I'm on the don't, they're on the don't. If I throw a two-way craps check, yeah, I get them in there right away.
All right, we're also talking about the shooter for a good roll. Do you throw something to the shooter?
Well, I tip the shooter if he makes me money, for sure.
All right. Dylan, since you chimed in a question that probably should have been asked about an hour and a half ago when we were talking about King of the Mountain, how do you feel about this question?
Oh, I do. I tip both the dealer and the shooter. I have no problem doing that. If they're rolling super fantastic and I've made a lot of money off of them, you bet I'm going to tip the shooter. And I can either make a bet for them, or like give them a hard way or whatever they want. I can ask that, or I'll just throw them a quarter or whatever. At the end of once the roll's concluded and the roll's ended, so I can throw a quarter that way or whatever. Depends on just depends. But sometimes I'll do a hard way for them, or sometimes I'll just throw a flat quarter to them, and as a thank you appreciation. And that in St. Louis that is becoming a common practice. I mean, and the more that people do it, the more that it catches on. So it's more, it's a good thing to do all the time, because it shows, we know that the dealers we know that we appreciate the dealers because they have a hard job, but when there's a really good hot shooter, the all tall small, or what have you, everybody's going bananas, everybody's celebrating and whatever. That's when you really should throw a quarter, throw something to the shooter to express your appreciation, and that just keeps the karma, the goodwill flowing, and it works. And so we got to lead by example, and that's a good example to lead by.
All right. Anybody else on the question from Brian from Holy Roller, which he actually says that's one of his favorite things to do is to press the shooter's bets.
I certainly do. I bet for Adam when he was on his massive roll in AC, because he wasn't on a couple of bets or a couple of things that he was rolling. He wasn't on them. A lot of times shooters forget what they're doing because they're so focused on their dice. So they may be missing what they're doing. And I all the time drop a horn for the shooter, or press the shooter's bets, or grab a 10 for the shooter, and I'll even manage it for them if they want me to. I do that all the time. I've never. Well, I say never. One time I've actually handed the shooter a tip, but I do enjoy the betting for them better than just dropping them money. Although I drop dealers money and don't bet for them, but I will bet for a shooter, which is weird.
All right. Anybody else? Good.
I'm the dumbass in the group.
Here we go. Go ahead.
I don't expect a tip from anybody. Sometimes you get some, and when I get them, I hand it to the dealer. I've had guys press my ATS up before, and that's always appreciated. You ain't got to do it by much, but one of the fun things we do with a group I play with, and it's just kind of a standing thing that we do, is whenever somebody hits an ATS, we throw them $1. So we stop the table. We go, what? Right before they throw the die, hey, shooter, here's something for your trouble. And we throw them $1.
That's awesome.
And that's just kind of a trophy. That's all that is. We want to see who can collect the most dollars at the end of a trip or a weekend or whatever it is. But the guys I shoot with, we don't expect tips. We don't tip each other. I've had guys press my pass line up, stuff like that. That's always appreciated, but it's not expected. I don't expect anybody to bet for me because I can bet for myself. And I'm not real good at tipping anybody for shooting, because if they can't make money on their own roll and they made a long roll, they need to learn how to bet. And the best way to learn how to bet is to walk away with about half of what I got. So I'm a little different.
All right. Anybody else?
I don't bet for the shooter. I always toss some money at the end.
Okay.
I know some shooters don't like when you bet for them. They'd rather have the money, so I just toss them cash at the end. Well, not cash, but chips. Just my standard go-to.
So on this topic, we're all talking about betting or tipping. I know everybody tips the dealers. Can I ask you a question, which is why? Why do you tip the dealers with your bets? Just a flat question.
If they're a good crew,
why tip them with bets? No, I'm saying with bets. Why not just hand them money instead of betting for them with you? Because when those bets lose, who gets the money? The fucking house gets the money, right? So why on earth would you give the house extra money when you intended it to go to a person? Like, to me, the human needs the money, not the fucking house. So I tend to give the dealers actual money. After a roll, if you want to do it per roll, you had a good roll, drop them $10 and say, drop that. I know they want to
toss some money and tell them do what you want with it.
I thought I was cheap.
I mean, to me, I've watched so many dollars just get burned into the house's tray that's meant for the people, and they don't get to play with it. They can't buy groceries with tips that go into the fucking house, right? So I've in the last few years have changed my completely. Right, I hand them drop this, drop that, drop this, and I don't bet for them anymore. I've stopped doing it. And I would actually encourage everybody to stop betting for the dealers. I think it's one of the dumbest things that we've ever come up with.
I think what you're saying is dumb.
Well, that's okay. We don't have to agree.
But I'm not giving it to the house. Though.
Like, they do, but they want to. They also want to.
I don't give a shit. I'm giving the freaking money away anyway. So who do I care who it ends up with? I want the dealer to be on my side when I'm shooting the dice. I don't give a shit who ends up with the crick and money.
But when I buy in, I give them money right away. I tip. I actually pre-tip.
I don't buy.
I give them money.
I'm gonna put them on the line with me every freaking time. Every time. Why? I want them on my side. I want them to have action in the game.
But they're on my side
I give them a hand in any damn way. I give them a hand in anyway.
Well, then that makes you a dumbass. So if you're going to give the house money and them money, you're just throwing twice as much money away. That's fucking stupid.
You can call me a dumbass all you want to, but I still got fucking hair.
All right, guys. All right, guys.
John, oh my God,
John,
that's awesome.
Let's keep it moving.
John,
Ron, I love that you make a comment about this.
Hang on.
Awesome.
John, John, you're missing the point.
Let's move on.
John, you're missing the point. The point is that it's the karma and the good feeling, because the dealers can if they're pissed off or they're not in the game right or whatever, they can drag the energy down. They can suck the life out of it. Okay, and so that's his point. Is he wants them on everybody's side. He wants a nice, friendly, fun game. And that's,
I get the point.
That's how the dealers know That's how the
Let me
dealers
ask you a
know that
question.
they're going.
Can you buy anything with karma? These dealers are making minimum wage. Can they buy a loaf of bread with karma? They can't. They can buy.
No,
loaf of bread
that's
with
their
25
career
bucks, I
choice,
guess.
right? That is their
Right.
career choice.
Well, and here's and again, leading for tomorrow's show, which is fuck the casinos. The casinos pay these guys nothing, right? Which is bullshit on its own, whole different level bullshit. They should pay them actual wages, not minimum wage, and depend on us to give them their money. But because they are dependent on us to help supplement what their income ought to be by the house, they need to get money in the toke box. And I feel like I'm tired of burning 50, 60, whatever bucks it is a night that's not going in the toke box. I want them to have their money. So I'm being more tactical about it. I think I'm being more practical about it. And that's why I say I don't tip for them anymore during the game. I've stopped it. Then that's my way. And I roll in, I get my karma because I buy in for 500 and they get a quarter out of the gate. Right out of the gate, money in the rack, money in their box. They're on Team John.
I think you're just
minute I roll up,
campaigning.
you know?
John, you're just campaigning for when you become a dealer.
No. I'm literally, I've changed my tune on this because I'm tired of throwing money away. I'm just tired of throwing it away. And I watch them and they're all happy and the karma's great.
Playing
And
the
I'm
wrong
like, but how much
game
money?
if you're tired of throwing money away, dude.
Well, no, I'm saying money meant for them that goes away. Right.
Yeah.
They're told.
And I've watched, $6 across player control, and it's like number, 7 out, number, and they get nothing out of it, or they get $2 out of it.
Dude,
Well,
I got
big
dealers
fucking
taking
deal,
money out of the tote box and placing numbers when I shoot.
well, that's you.
I mean,
I'm talking
shit.
about everybody else. I'm talking about the other
Yeah.
97% of us that are out there not shooting well. Right. That's
John,
what I want.
John,
them to
I don't
have
shoot
money.
well every time, but when they catch a streak, I've got dealers in Biloxi that'll take money out of the tote stack and put it on place bets. I mean, and I like for them to get involved with the game.
Right. And
I
that's,
mean,
that's
even if I'm
just-
walking away a loser, I'm
I hear
still
you.
giving them a hand in every time.
right.
Yeah.
But this
So
would
so
be a
it's double
good,
up then.
Now,
All right.
I'm not the
Let's
best
double up.
tipper. I agree, I'm not the best tipper, but I'll put them on the line with me every time.
Yeah. If I'm on the
And then
six,
I will use I will put
All right.
extra money on my pass line to pay for the next dealer bet. So I try to use the casino money
amen.
to pay the dealers. I don't sit there and just go, here's $1, put it on the pass line. If it's a $15 game, I'm putting $17 up there. Why am I putting 17? Because I'm a cheap ass. But I put $1 for them and 17 for me. Right? All right. So if I throw a 7, they're going to pull that. They're going to rake that one. They're going to break that dollar into their box. And guess what? I just got $2. I can put those $2 in my rack, take one of them, put it on the pass line. I do that every time. Now, if I make a point, I set a point. I'll place them guys $5 or $6, $2, depending on the number. I want them to get paid when I hit that number because I'm shooting for that number.
right.
And I want them to get paid, and I want them to appreciate it.
Yep.
And they do. They honestly do. But the other flip side to this is that none of us are real dealers. Okay, so this should be a casino question for Dave and Alex that you, John, should have the opportunity
I have asked
them.
David this question. I've asked David this
Exactly,
question,
so-
and the truth of it is they love when you bet for them because it's fun, but they appreciate
Exactly.
the people that give them but they appreciate more the people that give them actual money. He
They're
said to
getting
me,
both, John.
"No one's
They're getting both.
They're not always. Most people bet $1 across." And they walk away when they're all done. They think that they did their job, and the dealer's got $4 out of that guy over the course of you buy him for $500. The guy plays for 2 hours, loses $250, and gives them $6 across 3 times. They got this out of that, right? When I play and I buy them for $500, they get a quarter at the front and they get $61 or $51 at the end, whatever my change is. They when I leave the casino, they have money and they know it. When I walk up, they're like, "Hey, John's here again." Because they know they're gonna get to fucking eat tonight. That's how I do it. And I'm sorry if that rubs you wrong, but I guarantee them money in the box. I'm not giving them a wing and a prayer. And I know that feels good and they enjoy it and it's karma and all that stuff, but they can't spend any of that. And they're making nothing. Here in Seattle, they're making $13 an hour.
Right, Jen.
$13 an
You're
hour.
right.
And that $25 that I give them matters. It does. It's $5. It's $5 a person at the table, at least guaranteed. And that's how I look at it. I used to be on that side, but I've changed my ways in the last couple of years, and I'm trying to campaign for that because I just don't want to piss my money away. Give it to the house. Why would I give the house $30 during the night that the dealers never see, and then still give them $30 at the end? That makes no fucking sense. To me, that's
ask Jeff how many hard ways I hit for the damn dealers when he was up there in February.
Well, I've hit money for them too in the past, but again, that's not a guarantee. I want to give them a guarantee. That's just me.
You need a proper balance, John. It's not one or the other. It's a proper balance.
I'm not going to hand them.
I'll walk away with $250. I tip my dealers $25 or $30, so they're happy.
Right.
Exactly. That's correct. I don't have a problem with that at all. It's a proper balance.
Yeah. And I think this comment here from Red Eye, welcome to the show, is specific because different locations throughout the country have different regulations between unions and non-unions, and whether or not it's regulated by the state gaming casino, or maybe some of the tribal casinos can do what they want to do as far as paying them. And I guess it could be jurisdictionally, regionally, decided upon what you do. I happen to be $1 on the line and odds behind it. That's just the way I do it. I've seen what Ed and Clay do. They put the chips on top and beside, and then they also put them up. And I think it's player preference as to what you believe you want to do. John has a point with throwing money away, but this comment I put up a little while ago that somebody said that 80% of the dealers want to play it. They don't want to just take it.
They do want to play it.
You know, if you did a survey, I'm sure that it would go both ways. So, Rod, did you get your final point out? I know you tried to get in there about 12 times and you didn't get in, but were you able to get your point in?
My point is just that when I play, I tip the dealers and I give them $6 across, and I roll 6 and 8s, and they make money on the 6 and 8s. And they don't make money on the 4 and 10. That's okay, but they make money. And then when I leave, if I color up $250, I give them whatever's left over. It's like if it's $270, then they get another $10, $20. You know, it's all good.
All right. I like that comment that Brian just put up there. Makes for a good debate. I like that. And that was a pretty good one because we've actually had this topic before. I don't think it's ever gotten as heated as it did this time.
I wouldn't say
that's because John has a hat on backwards.
It was good.
It's not heated. It's just too strong opinions. It's not that it's heated. It's just opinions, right?
I don't know. You call each other dumbasses.
Don just thinks that you're cheap.
I'm not cheap at all.
Right.
I'm not cheap at all. They're getting the full 20% every time I go. Every time I go, it's 20%. Whether it's front and back.
Then I'm cheap. I admit I'm a cheap player. There's no doubt about it.
I think it's.
But I guarantee you, I'm going to put them on some action, and I'm going to hand them a hand in when I leave the table, up or down.
You have to. Yeah.
No, you don't.
Well, I disagree with you. It's part of it. It's part of the you have that's part of your bankroll and your session money that you've already that you should have already preset aside to allocate for that.
I ask every time for a specific number of white chips, and they look at me and I go, "That's for dealer bets." And I've never had a dealer refuse to place a dealer bet yet.
Well, of course not. Of course not. Of course not.
Why wouldn't they? If they don't want the freaking bet, why wouldn't they refuse to place it?
You mean lock it up instead?
Yeah. Why wouldn't they just go? Oh, I'll throw them $1 or $5 and say dealer choice. They'll place the damn bet every freaking time. If you say dealer choice, they'll place the bet. They won't stick it in the box. They'll place the bet every time. Give them a choice.
Do you give them $1, they'll do that. You give them a quarter, it's going in the fucking box. That's the difference.
You playing in Seattle. You ain't playing in Biloxi, dude. We play with real money down there.
That's a good question. That's a good question to ask David and Alex. That's a good question to ask David and Alex. That specific scenario, $1 versus a quarter. Player's choice. Do they want to lock it up?
A quarter. 25 is 25, right? But they still got to split that 25 with 150 other dealers in the casino, right?
Yeah, whatever.
It depends how the crew works.
$5 dealer choice. $5 dealer choice. You want to bet or do you want to put it in the box? That's their choice. And sometimes I give them the choice.
I'm gonna write David right now.
Crappest table, I'll see them put it on a 12.
Yeah, but not every state can bet like that.
No, that's not really true. The majority of them, even in Indian reservations, they'll accept tips. So that's not
tips, but
so we have one of our casinos. So it's funny, and around here they're all different tribes, right? So one tribe, you can't do player control. You put your bets up, right. They have to drop it. You cannot press bets. They take a win. You got to put another $1 out there every single time. Another casino I know, the crew at the table shares their tips, and they empty the tote box when the shift's over. Another casino I know. Well, it's for the crew that's there. So if they're working hard, they're making money. Another casino, the pit shares it. So I think every casino's got their own weird rules to it.
You go to Black Hawk, for example, and all the dealers keep the tote box off the table. Those dealers at that table keep that tote box. So it's a different deal. But by God, they want you to bet for them. I can promise you. There was old gal named Martha. If you didn't bet the ATS on you, she'd take it out of your next winnings and put it up for herself. Martha would do it every freaking time. Martha would do it on your buy-in. She'd say, "I'm holding this for the ATS fantastic. When you come up." It's fantastic. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a lady down in Biloxi. I think Jeff met her. Every time I'd go up, she said, "You're gonna put me up too, aren't you?" They wanted that damn bet.
All right. Well, any more debate?
Are you glad you're back, Jeff? Are you glad you came back? We could have been talking about hats and women. Instead, we're talking about.
We ain't talking about women yet. Let's talk about women now. Let's talk about women. Let's go for women.
We talked about them earlier. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know that I want to bring this question up, but Miguel asked me to bring it up, so we're gonna move on because I hope it's not being condescending towards anybody. We'll move on with this question here. What about superstitions? What superstitions do you bet? I believe that's what that says. What superstitions do you bet? I can't see it for myself. I got to put it up on a different screen here. Here we go. Take Kevin, for instance, an expert player still does the see a horn and bet a horn. I don't bet superstitious bets. I do bet the feel of what I may want to throw out there on a high horn or something from time to time. But does anybody have any superstitious bets? Anybody in the panel? Anybody out there in Chatland that can put that up there in your chat as well?
Absolutely not.
Cash on the table. No bet.
All right.
Cash on the table, no bet.
Yep, I got you, Dusted. Anybody else got a superstitious bet?
If a dealer gets cocky when he's shooting, I'll hop the reds, and more often than not, he sevens out.
Okay, that's a superstition.
Dice off the table, my bets are turned off. Every time
rolls,
without.
Chris?
If I'm light side, it's usually until they hit a point or until I see that they've fought through off the table. But every time dice off the table, I turn my bets off.
Except when you play the don't, right?
Then I load up. Give me those odds.
Yeah, I'll do that. Press the DC odds if dice go off the table.
Or hop the reds, one of the two. But usually I load up on odds.
Well, don't wait 2 o'clock in the morning. It's already 10 o'clock.
Somebody's talking about 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know who that is, but whoever's got the background, mute your mic, please. If you would, please. Anybody else got anything about superstitions? Questions? I expected that one to go a little longer.
0. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't have any either.
I kind of, you know what? Actually, if anything, the shooter is worried. Like if I'm playing and Ed's throwing, and Ed throws him off the table for some hits a chip or some shit, and Ed turns his stuff off, I might trust that shooter before I trust myself. I don't personally have any superstitions, but if I feel like that guy who I have qualified as a good shooter is worried about something, that might be a key. And I guess the same thing is, if you ever seen a shooter turn their bets off, what do? Like randomly, I've seen shooters that are shooting good just turn their shit off all of a sudden. Like, what do you do in that situation? Like if Ed all of a sudden says, you know what, turn my bets off after one of his rolls. Like he didn't like what he saw. Would you turn your bets off? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I was playing with Demon Dog one day up in Indiana, and he turned his bets off about 40 rolls before he rolled a 7, and I just kept collecting money. I mean, you know, in fact, I told him, I said, "Don't you dare turn your bets on."
But I mean,
he throwed the ATS, he throwed everything in the world at that damn table. I mean, I made tons of money. I said, "I'll pay you."
But somebody I know that shoots well. But somebody I know is a student of their dice that turns their bets off, because like if you turned your bets off, I would assume you saw something you don't like and you're trying to fix it for a minute. That's a clue to me. But that's not a superstition.
I think it has more to do
with what I see.
I mean, for me, it's got more to do with vibe at the table. You can call it juju, you can call it whatever you want to call it. But you know, if you see an interruption or something that kind of interrupts as Nate said, the force of the table, or I don't. It's like when my host came up and tapped me on the back right in the middle of a long throw in Biloxi, and then my next toss was a 7. Right?
Yes, that happened.
Things that interrupt the force. Now, I wasn't going to turn my bets off because I'm stupid enough to think I could overcome that interruption, but I wasn't on that particular toss. I don't have a lot of superstitions, but there are things that interrupt the force of the table. An ATS payout interrupts the force of the table. You should turn your bets off on any side being hit, especially when an all is getting hit and getting paid out. You should always turn your bets off for a roll, or digress your bets. Yes, I said that.
Yep. Anybody else? Craig, Chris, Dustin?
No, I had cash on the table, man. No bets. That's the only time I don't.
All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to another question here. Although he didn't put it in the form of a question, I did queue it up here. Do any of you get annoyed if the shooter hits a lot of come-out rolls before establishing a point, like 3 to 7 or yos in a row?
Hell no. I ladder up.
Yep. On my come-outs, I'm making money, so I don't complain. Anybody else got from Albright Rock there? Get annoyed? I don't get annoyed. My come-out actually makes me money. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're making money, why would you be annoyed?
Yep. Yeah, and I see so many people that I know John's not a fan of the ATS, but I see so many people put the ATS up and don't protect themselves. And although eventually, one side's going to give way, whether you're doing Ed's world bet and an extra bet on the ace deuce, whether you're doing my line bet with the ATS and a craps bet, I make money. I break even or make money. I don't lose that, so it doesn't annoy me at all. Actually, I like the yos best of all, because then it'll turn into a horn bet instead of just a craps and a line bet. Another yo comes, and you're getting double paid. Anybody on this one?
I guess you get annoyed if your favorite number is 5. You just love 5, and that's all you bet, and they just can't get a point.
I did. I'm not going to make a comment on that. I was getting ready to say something, but I won't. We're looking at some of these other questions here as we get close to the end of the show time. Dice Dr. Dan left us, so he's not here. Let's go up here to Jalapon. How do you say his name? Somebody say his name for me.
Jalen.
Say it wrong.
Jalen.
Is it Jalen? I heard you say that the other day. Ed. Is it
he told me I was the only one that was correct on that.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
Pollen. Okay. Well,
Good
you
to know.
can't see it because it's so long, so I'm going to read it. It says, question. So from my experience, there are 4 sizes of dice throughout the casinos I've been to. Have you guys seen the dice wobble back to a top position or acted funny, defying some physics on the table? I guess, Jerry LaPond, it depending upon whether your state is regulated by a casino gaming commission, there's only 2 sides of dice, unless you're on the European side of it. So if you got 4 kinds of dice, you're playing at a shady casino, and they may have some, what'd you say, though, defying the physics of the table. So most of the East Coast side of the United States is regulated, and they use 2 sizes of dice, and they have to be certain weights. You go to Las Vegas, you can get anything from a light dice to a heavy dice. So somebody else chime in here if you've ever seen 4 sizes of dice. I know, according to George over in the European side, there are a few different types of dice, and they're actually set up different than an A or a B dice. If you don't know what that means, that's a whole nother topic. Anybody? 4 sides of dice? Dylan?
There's only 2 in the United States.
Yep.
That's and here in St. Louis, they're all the same. So there's
Well, we do have a casino in Atlantic City that will do the 725s and the 750s. They'll switch them between shifts. So they're smaller dice, but they are legal in the state of New Jersey because that's what they allow, and they have to be weighted. I don't know if it's 8 or 9 grams a piece. I can't remember right off the top of my head. But you go to the Orleans in Vegas, and it's 2.5 grams of dice. I mean, they're like throwing marshmallows.
okay.
Anybody?
Well, here's the situation. Now, we've got bias regarding fake, false dice, or everything lands on 6-1, or all the 7s land on 6-1, or whatever. There's only 2 manufacturers in the Northern Hemisphere that make casino grade dice. One is in Mexico, and they do not sell to the public. The other one is used to be Midwest Gaming. They no longer sell to the public unless you've been an established buyer for a long period of time. And there's only 2 sizes that are certified by the gaming commissions in the United States. That's 0.75 and 0.775.
75, yes.
The weights, they can't vary much. The 0.75s are all pretty much going to weigh the same. You can buy some. You can, if you buy and cancel dice, they're not going to weigh the same. I don't know what the cow's doing or whatever it was you said, because I can't imagine them being so much lighter, even though I've had several people say they are. But there's only 2 manufacturers. And that's it, period. None. Other than that, you got to go to China. So if they're playing with Chinese dice, they're not playing with regulated dice. And the Gaming Commission would really like to know about that.
But not all gaming commissions enforce the dice thing, Ed.
You will if you file a complaint. If you file a complaint, they'll have to investigate it.
I'm sure they would. I believe that. I don't know what the tribal side does on their side of their casinos, what they do. But I've never seen 4 sizes of dice.
The tribal side. I don't know. I've only played with one. That's the Choctaws, and I don't like their tables, but their dice are fair. All the you got bright shiny dice, that are polished and slick. You've got what I call a sanded finish or a matte finish on dice. A lot of the Boyd properties will use a matte finish on their dice. In fact, many will use a matte finish.
Do you like that better?
I do enjoy the matte finish because it doesn't stick to my fingers as much.
That's what I was thinking. You don't get that sweat, right? That dew.
Yeah, even though I might be sticky, they're not as sticky for me. I enjoy playing with a matte finish dice. But as far as sizes, you got 2 sizes. Each one's made by the same polymer. The pips are made, or even though the pips are cut out, the polymer that fills the pips is the same molecular product, as the rest of the dice, so they're supposed to weigh the same. And I've never seen them weighed at a table by a box person, but I have seen them take out the calipers when they open up a new sleeve and measure them. And they all have to, you know, the box person is in person, or the pit boss is in charge of making sure the dice fit the standards of what they've ordered and what they put on the table, according to the commission. So, you know, I've seen them use them. They caliper them every time before they stick them out there.
Yep. Yep. All right. Anybody else ever seen any weird dice beside acting? Because sometimes you throw the dice and you want to know why it took that extra roll to the 1 when it was going to be a 2, a 6-2-8 instead of a 6-1-7. Yes, John?
Can I ask Ed a question about this? Because Ed clearly knows about the actual like makeup of the dice. What are your honest feelings about the older dice? Because I can, again, novice John thrower here, right? When I'm throwing brand new, super sharp, brand out of the case or out of the foil dice, they dig in, they catch. I feel like that's more random because they catch and they go. When they're rounded, you get a little more slip to it. You don't really get that dig in and crazy bounce. Do you prefer a sharp die or a used die? Now, locally, our dice here in Seattle are a disaster. Like the tribes don't change them out that often. They're always pretty carved up. What is your preference?
Well, most casinos are supposed to change them out every shift. And so you got 5 dice, 2 of them are getting tossed. How many, you know, what's the casino's choice per hour on a toss? You know, so let's just say 40 or 50 times per hour for 8 hours, and you're only using 2. So, you know, some of those dice are barely getting used because, you know, hey, we get to pick the dice we choose, right? So,
Right.
Do you feel them out? Do you actually like feel them, or do you just grab 2?
You know, I don't go to that trouble. You know, you talk about superstition. I look for the ones that if I see a couple of them with 2s on top, and I'm going to shoot a 2V, I grab the 2s. That's all I care about. But you know, I don't mind. I mean, I've opened tables, and they're going to be sharp dice, and I'm fine with that. And then, you know, I mean, a sharp dice will capture every flaw you've got in your toss. There's no doubt about it. A sharp dice, brand new dice. But, you know, if you're playing at home, you're playing with rounded dice unless you're changing your dice out enough.
Right.
And most of us can't afford to change our real dice out at home as often as we need to. But
I try and
I
rotate
will
my dice every
constantly
day, but
look.
it's still they're a mess. They're a mess.
Yeah, I mean, well, you don't have to change them out every day, but, you know.
I mean, I change the pair every day. So every dice gets 1 day. Every pair gets a day that I rotate through like 30 pairs. So it takes, you know.
I'd say 200 to 300 rolls per dice is about what you're going to end up with on a table anyway. So, in a shift, you know, so.
And you notice that? Can you actually notice, like, are you like feeling the difference when you throw land and watch? You can really.
Absolutely.
So what is it that's your, what is it that's different when you see a chewed up old dice or just an old, like a dice that's got 200 rolls on it? What is the difference that you're sensing with that?
Well, I would rather have brand new dice, preferably, because if I can land them flat, I don't care whether the edges are sharp or not. But, you know, I've had people say they'd rather, you know, a lot of people would rather catch a set of dice when they're like in the last 2 hours of a shift before they change them. You know, they're a little bit more rounded. They're beat up. But if you look at them close, you can tell.
See, for me, with that chopper or spinner toss, I want them to not dig in. I want them to skip. So for me, an older die is better than a sharp die. But
well,
for
then you need to play that
opposite,
to your
right?
advantage. You need to find out when the shift changes are. Hey, you know, hey, box, when does the shift normally change? You'll find that out, and you go play the last 2 hours. if that's to your advantage. You know, I've played many a times where I've been sitting there waiting on them to open a table. I know I'm getting fresh dice. I'm getting, dice that'll cut your finger if you're not careful. So,
and you're like this, right? You're like licking your chops, right? In that case, you're thinking that's a good thing for you.
well, I don't mind it. I just know what I'm getting when I get it. So it's a mindset thing. So I know I've got to be really on, and if I'm not on, I walk away. But if I'm really on, I love those sharp dice, but, and it also, playing surface has a difference to it too. There's two types of microfiber out now, and then you've still got a few tables out there that's got old fashioned felt. Problem is, all of us practice at home on microfiber and we don't practice on old fashioned felt. I don't throw well on old fashioned felt. It takes me a while to even figure out how to get dialed in on it. And by then I done lost half my bankroll and I'm walking away anyway. So, I don't really like old fashioned felt, but the old guys do. Like Heavy will tear up a damn old fashioned felt table in a heartbeat. Some of the guys who used to play, that's all they used to play. They love those tables. I practice on microfiber, so
those are few and far between. The old fashioned felt tables
most of the casinos do.
There's not many of those left. I haven't seen one since. Not many. I mean, I've seen a few, but most of them are the microfiber.
Hard Rock has one left. Hard Rock has one left, and you wouldn't play it because it's crapless. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. They changed the crapless layout. It's a regular table, but it's 14 foot.
A crapless felt would be impossible, right?
No, not really.
Not impossible, but unlikely. I mean, because when they make a crapless table, they're going to be a newer table, so they would probably use microfiber as the base.
Yeah, but there's one in Tunica that still orders them in as old fashioned felt. So
no kidding.
Yeah.
Do you think it's advantageous? So, if I had a choice, if I'm building a new table or resurfacing my table, would you recommend somebody get old fashioned felt and be able to adjust backwards to microfiber, or get microfiber because that's the majority case? What do you think that's doing? Anybody that's looking at doing a practice rig or a practice table now should use microfiber because that's what the casinos are predominantly using. If you walk up to a table and they've got really nice, a lot of colors in their graphics on their layout, immediately, you ain't got to touch it. Immediately it's a microfiber layout because they can't print that on the old felt. There's like 3 colors that they print on the old felt. Microfiber, they got every color in the world they print them on. Yeah, the old felt's like a T-shirt. Like they have to run it through the screener to get the colors on it.
Well, it's almost like that. Yeah. The funny thing is they actually are using a white cloth. The microfiber is a white cloth. So the black, like on my table, you see my table or any other table, whatever the predominant color is, that's still ink. That's still ink that's been printed on that white piece of microfiber. Even the white has white ink over the top of the white microfiber. So everything it's just a different cloth. It's a different process where they can get more graphics and different colors and that kind of thing and make their tables look, sporty and all that stuff.
All right. That's a good conversation and some good information there from dice to the cloth. I know that Lou and Clay made a point about the difference dice at Harrah's in Atlantic City versus the dice at the 2 other Caesars property or even any of the other 7 casinos that are in Atlantic City today. And I asked George one time what the difference is, and he explained that there's an A side and a B side to the dice, and depends on how they make them set up. And from what I talked to the person that gets the dice from Craps Nation, you actually do order the dice that way, which way you want to do them from Midwest Gaming. So really? Craps Nation, yep. There's an A and B dice.
I didn't know that.
What you're talking about is the angle of the threes.
The threes, right?
And the twos.
This, yeah.
Yeah, the threes. One is an A.
Yeah.
You have a copy.
I have a set of dice.
That's an A dice, right? That's
Can you
an
zoom
A
that
dice.
in, Ed?
Yeah,
Jeff,
let me
Jeff,
put that
zoom
up.
in.
Let me put that up there. Yeah, I am going to zoom that in. Give me 1 second. He's a little
That's
faster
an
than
A
what I thought
dice.
he was going to be.
That's an A dice because there's the 2, there's the 5. So if you were on a B dice, they would be this way, but that wouldn't be a 5. That would be a 2,
Yeah, 2.
and that would be a 5. So
Yeah.
that's the difference in the A and B.
If you
So
ever
it's the angle. It's the angle of the threes. You're going to run into that in Reno.
Now, does
And
that
Tahoe.
change? What does that change? Like, what is that? What is the difference? It's still a 3. Is it because
Still
when
a
you
3
set your
doesn't make a
3D,
damn bit of difference. It makes a guy or gal who's a dice setter scratch their head for a minute because they're looking. Maybe you're wanting a 3-2, 3-6, and all of a sudden you pull that up and the threes are pointing in a different direction, and so you
it's
think
still
you
the
set
same.
it for the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's the same.
You just got to reset.
Everything is in the same place. It's just the angle of the 3 is in a different place, different direction.
So your mental picture of it is goofy, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well,
it'll screw your head up. It's designed
What
to
it
screw
did
your
with-
head up just a little bit. That's about it.
What it did with me is when you go to set the dice, and that's the question that's going to come here. When you go to set the dice, it confused me because the first time I saw that was at the Atlantis in the Bahamas. The very first time I ever saw it. And then somebody pointed out, one of our AC group members pointed out that at Harrah's it is a totally different dice than anywhere else in Atlantic City. And to Frank's question in here, is that real? Yes, it is real. Go check it out. When you're at the Nugget next time, Frank, go over to Harrah's and look at the dice. It's different.
That's weird.
You'll run into it in it's either Reno or Tahoe. One of the casinos there uses the B dice a lot.
All right. Well, we'll go right into this.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's still a 3, and everything's still in the right place. It's just you're not used to it being at a different angle. You're used to it being this way, and instead it's this way. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah. We're going to take it right into this question here, Ed, and this might be one of the last questions of the night. Tips for quick dice setting, and they said Ed. I have a comment, but the question was geared towards you. So, Ed, quick tips.
Now, it depends on your set. I mean, if you know what you're wanting to throw, you got to watch the dice coming to you, and you got to see what they've got, and you just got to roll 1 or 2 over real quick, and you're set. I mean, it's paying attention to how the stick is bringing you the dice, and if the stick is on your side, a lot of times the stick will be bringing them to you almost set. All you got to do is kind of maybe twist them 180 or 90 degrees or something. I've seen that. I've seen sticks pick up on your sets because you're betting on them real good. Contrary to John, you're betting on the stick. The stick knows what you want to set, so he kind of presets them for you sometimes.
Yeah.
He may not know which
sometimes they
face
do.
you want facing you, but he'll put them on top. But if they don't, you just gotta watch as they come, and you take the first dice and you get it right, and the next dice you look. I mean, hey, every opposite number adds up to a 7 on the dice. If y'all don't know that, you need to learn that real quick.
Right.
The 3 is on the opposite side of the 4, the 5 is on the opposite side of the 2, the 6 is on the opposite side of the 1. For the newbies out there, that might be an eye opener, but you got to learn that. And if you see a 6, the opposite side of that is a 1. So if you want a 1 showing, you got to turn that thing over and you got to roll it maybe 90 degrees or something to get the set you want on top.
Right. Yeah. I was going to make that mention about a dealer pushing them to you the way that you had them set up. I look at when they bring them into the middle of the table, when the bets are all being paid out, I've already looked at the dice. So when they're going to be pushed out to me, I know which way I'm going to have to turn them, especially at one of the locals that has a 5-second rule. I try to get them as close as I can to get them set so they don't see me setting the dice when I pick them up. My delay is getting out there, setting my release up is where I spend most of my time, not setting the dice.
Yeah,
Go ahead, John,
there's a good video from Hawaiian Crap Shooters called "All You Need to Know About Dice Setting." And Brian does a great job of saying, here's like from the hard way set, 4 is on top, 6 is on the left. You can get to every set with 1 turn. And it's a really good video and I learned a lot about setting quick from watching that, where you get a hard way set back, or you get to a hard way set, you can get to anything within a quick turn, flip, or whatever. In one shot, you can be where you want to be. All the other dice sets you need to. So that's a great starting point. And I practice a lot getting sets quick.
And you really, if you're going to play in casinos, that I heard y'all talking earlier before I interrupted the show about about not being able to set the dice. They were talking about some casinos don't let you set the dice. If you know your axis on your sets, just quickly bring them in, roll them in, rack them up. And you can take and shake them like this all you want to and make them rattle. And they think you're throwing, and then just let them go. But you've already got the axis set that you want. You got an axis on your set, so then just let them go. But don't play casino. Go what?
Now you're giving away good tips. That's a good tip.
Yeah, I mean, if you just watch the axis, you can just pick them up and line them in your axis. And you can sit there and shake them like this, like you're some kind of random guy, and make them click and clack and click and clack, and then just let them go. But you're still got an axis set. You got an axis set when you throw them. Now, I don't recommend playing in a casino that makes you do that, but if you are, that's what you got to do.
All right.
Know your axis. Know your axes. Axes. I don't know how you say that.
Well, let's take a look up here and see if we have another question here. That was a quick tip there.
That should be a short. That's really great information, and that should be a short that needs to be put out. What Ed just said is very, very, very important. I can't stress that enough. That was very great information.
A long time ago, Mudslide Mac did a video on that.
Yeah.
Picking them up, and you're just kind of raking them together, and you're looking at the axis, and you manipulate them, and then you just take them and you shake them in your hand back and forth. You're not changing the axis. You just let them go. So that's the only. If you want to try to create an advantage, that's it. Even if they won't let you set them, because they think you're just being stupid and shaking the dice, and that's what you want them to think.
Love it.
All right. So, I believe it's we've just pushed over the 2 hour and 30-minute mark of the show, which is probably about average for the show. After show tonight, guys, if you want to come in, I will not be here. I have some packing and a couple things to do before I have to leave early in the morning for a short trip. Duraso is still here. How about that? He asked a question earlier. I was going to talk about that, and I was going to let John finish up the topic of the night with that. Let me just go back to the questions. I thought Duracell was over on the other show. So John, here we're gonna wind up with this. We're gonna talk about Friday night fights, and I'd like you to, if you would, this week on your show, in your little when I do my show, I call it the monologue. You can come out, you can talk for a few minutes, and then you get into it. You're Jay Leno. For those people that remember late night TV,
Johnny Carson,
really
right? Johnny Carson,
good late night.
Yeah, that's true. If you would do a poll on what people would like on Friday nights for the Friday night fights, Durso put it up here earlier. He put several comments in here about whether crapsy or no crapsy, and there was a couple back and forth. But I think that I'm going to put this one up here. It dates back just a little bit to probably almost an hour and a half ago. Let the viewers see both player bets at the same time builds drama, like offense and no offense to Friday night fights. And he also said this one here. This is the one I wanted to put up here. Maybe you could take a poll, John, and ask people on your show what they like. Maybe even put it in the Discord and maybe on the Facebook page is what they would like to see, which way it goes. Because, the production level is easy to do, as you know. But when you have to have a box man and get 4 people coordinated and software, it's a live show.
It's a pain. And the thing is, live dealing, he's right. When it's you against Ed and I'm dealing it, I got to hear your bets, place them, hear Ed's bets, place them, roll the dice, make the payments. What do you want? It takes forever, right? So 3 rounds of 36 rolls can take an hour. In Crapsy, 3 rounds takes 25 minutes. It's way faster. And you can both bet at the same time, which is great. But, and it's a big but, everybody likes the show, right? And I can't say that clearly enough. People like us messing the bets up. They like the interplay. They like the back and forth. So there's a bit of it that's kind of cool about it being a live show and us doing the chips and having all the problems and the box man fixing it's all good. It's all good TV. It's all how we learn, I think. But it's slow and it can be boring. The Crapsy takes the human element out of it, which also, like last show, like 80% of the people say this sucks. Go back to live dealing. So the people want live dealing, but they want it fast too. It's like we got to find what's the answer to making it quick and painless, but also live. And maybe it's just we just suck at dealing. Maybe that's what the answer is.
Well, it could be, but I think part of the dealing thing is that being a player that's played the tournament before, and then being a dealer who's dealt it a lot, is that there are the other person, because you get a chance to go before the other person, and the other person's got to think about what did he just do, and he's got to put the moves out there. I watched both Potter and Craig do their bets, and Potter stumbled several times and had just as much delay putting it in Crapsy as he would be saying, John, give me this, and this. And, the show was over with, or the game was over with in 35 minutes. You didn't go to the third round. But if you have a third round dealer bet, it can go longer. I tend to like the real chips, but I also see the benefit of using Crapsy.
There's huge value. The Crapsy thing was good as a show runner. Crapsy's great. Like I deal, I type it in, I give them a bunch of grief about what they're doing, and it's pretty quick. But the reaction that I got from people was, I want to see live chips. Everybody said, I want to see live trips. Okay, but also at the same time, it's like, but we also can't be an hour and a half. And it can't be boring and slow. So there's, you know what I mean? There's, and Duracell's right. He's saying here it's about growth. You want to get grower. You want to grow the channel. It's hard. Like the finding the right answer is really hard, and we're struggling with it. I don't know,
John.
I don't have the final answer.
Yeah, John. I got a question or quandary.
Sure.
Have you? I'm just sitting here thinking. You're thinking about efficiency. Have you contemplated having a dealer, two dealers, one for each player? Have you? Would that concept? I mean, would that make it fast? Yeah. Could that possibly make it faster?
But then you have crosstalk, right? Two players talking to two dealers. It's hard to get the bets in.
Well,
so
right, but one person. But they can still each take their turn and be patient. That way. But you don't. You're setting it up and everything. You still have a box person that oversees, but if one dealer is targeted to one player, and then I think that might. I mean, that's a concept that I was just sitting here thinking. Well, if the dealer isn't that fast or efficient for two, he should be able to be efficient for one. So maybe that might be something you might want to try or think about. It just came to me.
It's an option for sure. We got to figure something out because it is kind of slow the way it is now, and it's slow and it's again, we're not professional dealers yet. None of us are pros, right. So we make a ton of mistakes. Part of it is the mistakes are funny, right? And Duracell saying, train your audience and get them used to the new way of doing it. That's why I'm trying to like every third show do a Crapsy version of it to see how it turns out. So I don't know.
What do you?
What I find is that I struggle with the timing. Like to me, it's slow. Like when I'm dealing it, I'm trying as hard as I can to be as fast as I can. So we get, I want to finish it in 45 minutes if I can, but I'm not fast enough or accurate enough to make it like a real table. And it's, where do you put the bets and who's going next? And it's a lot to manage and we can make a ton of mistakes. And I get it where Duracell like one time said, it's been 6 minutes, no bets have been placed yet. And that happens because, you get string betting, hop this and that and this and that. And, get the horn and $16 here. And like, what did you say again? Where do you want that money? But by the time you get out there, it's 5 minutes sometimes. And part of that is because people are playing this tournament like it's all in all the time, and it's bets you'd never make in a real casino. So I've been like, thanks for Craig for like taking it for what it's supposed to be, which is let's be a good craps player and do normal size bets. It would go way quicker. But with everybody hopping everything and doing, all these wacky bets, it takes forever. So craps makes more sense in those circumstances,
Well, we could eliminate you. I mean, if push comes to shove, you could eliminate the hops, and that would cut down. That would cut down that issue.
I mean, you could, but I think again, the thing is when you're playing tournament play, it's everybody's trying to outthink and outsmart and do all this crazy stuff. It doesn't feel like real craps to me. And I think my gripe with that show, just like my gripe with AZ shows, is that it's not real craps. We're not learning a thing. We're not getting any better. We're just doing dumb shit and trying to make a bunch of money, which, I dare you to go to the casino with $750 and do what you guys do. Like nobody would ever do that. So that's what I want to get to is play it like you'd play it. And then we go way faster if we just played normal bets, but everybody wants to, do all sorts of nutty
John,
things.
Can I ask you to do this when you're doing your poll or your whatever? Throw that option of every third time do crapsy or every other time, whatever the frequency is, and let's see what they say. I put it as a poll in the CGTV, and you probably get a half dozen to a dozen people reply. But if you hit the other ones and then tally your polls and see what happens, and I think the Friday Night Fights is a good thing.
It's cool. Yeah.
So some of the matches have been super exciting, the close ones. But like you said the other day, 2 rounds, and it was over in 35 minutes. And typically, that's probably a good average show is about an hour. But it can go long. 36 rolls can go really long.
Well, that also I rolled like crap. That was the night that I had like 9 7s and 11 rolls or whatever the hell it was. So sometimes the rolls dictate how long it's going to go for sure. But Crapsy sure made that go a lot quicker that night.
Jeff, what's your opinion on 2 dealers with 2 players?
2 dealers with 2 players? I don't know that it would make a difference because each one of them still has to state their bets.
They got to call their bets.
We look at what Duracell's saying is let them make their bets in Crapsy. And that's I understand that, but I don't know which way to go, and I think that's one of the things we should do because that is entertainment, but it's also competition. Mm-hmm. Some people like it, unlike what Frank said here. He said observation tournament craps is dumb. There are some people that we play tournament craps that make a living at it. Not a living, but that do very good. Ron the Don does very good at that tournament play. I mean, that's what he's known for, and he's right from Jersey, Frank. So there's some people like it, some people don't, and you have options to tune in and tune out. What I see happen in the Friday Night Fights is if it goes too long, then we're leaving viewers. Therefore, Crapsy would speed it up. So I don't know what it is, but we need to listen to what the viewers want, and and take it from.
Well, there. I've always wanted it to be like a good show, like where there's a commentator giving color commentary, ragging on people as they're making their bets, and it being like a fun experience besides being a tournament. But I'll tell you, and Jeff, this, it's hard. Like, okay, on Friday morning, it's like, who can deal? Chris is on vacation and you got no power. And it's like, all right. And then can I find the players? Can they all both be here at 6:00 tonight? And it's every week is like pulling teeth.
We've said we need more
to get the 4 people you need. Yeah.
But I think the dealers should be lined up early in the week, and then make sure that and then if the players can't show and the next person up can't show, then you cancel it. But I think we have to be continuous with what we're doing. Duracell just said that every third week on Crapsy sounds good. It's going to lead me into the next question. I want to go back and answer Arnell because I think he's probably stayed there the whole time. I didn't want to specifically talk about my show tonight, Arnell, but I'm going to put it up there because you asked it again. and that was what he said here. And I don't want to harp on this because this is your show, it's not my show, and I put that in the chat, Jeff. So what was with the video you put out about what's Mac doing? And he's kind of laughing. So there's a YouTube, and when do these videos come? These come out. So I'm not gonna harp on that. It was an opinionated video. There's some things that was on my mind for a while. I talked to multiple people, Arnell, and believe it or not, I kind of talked to you a little bit about it when we were in Atlantic City, a couple of weeks ago before I put it out. So if you think about what we're doing here, we're here to educate, entertain, and then to bring some productive dialogue amongst the community. And that was my rant. And as far as something, if you looked at my channel, and this is the closing because I'm going to stop with me here, today I put something out that I actually have a Crapsy tournament. Frank from New Jersey, I actually have a Crapsy tournament coming up, in which it's not going to be on YouTube, but it's going to be an opportunity for people that love Crapsy to come play in a tournament where it's going to be shown in a different format, not on Facebook, not on any social media. And I would just encourage you to, just keep watching the Discords and watching, the channels, the various channels. I think that it's something that's been missing. I've talked about it. I actually waited for version 2 of Crapsy to come out, and I'm not waiting any longer because I've already told somebody, and this is going to be the final thing I'm going to say about it, because as soon as I tell them what I'm going to do, somebody will steal my idea. I'm going to let it go with that. So let's go ahead and close the show out. We'll start with Dustin, who's been ever so listening down there in the bottom corner. Dustin, do you have any final thoughts before we end the show tonight?
Only the thing that I've mentioned, the Chandler effect, to people about throwing dice or dice control. Everything in this world has an inherited or built-in wobble of inertia, which is called the Chandler effect. And any kind of imperfection that may be put or built into the dice that cannot be x-rayed, seen, or anything, even with the weight. And any little chip, even though it is a small cube, it is still affected by the Chandler effect. That's the only thing I have to say.
Okay. Well, you're welcome to stick around if we have an after show. I appreciate you coming on. I hope you come back for a future show. Like I said in a comment to you recently, I think good dialogue and good debate is good, as long as we don't talk about whiskey and hats all at the same time. Other than that, I think Crap's dialogue is good. I saw that look.
It's all good, man.
Saw you.
All good.
I saw that.
I appreciate it, Jeff. Well, I appreciate it, Jeff. You have invited me in the past when I was first kind of introduced to this community and trying to do what I'm trying to prove to all of you. But again, I'm glad I'm here. I'm enjoying the conversation. It's a lot nicer to be able to talk to people more and more than just sitting there pecking at a keyboard.
Yep.
That's one nice thing about this.
Yep. And that's
Appreciate having you.
Somebody that might want to come on. You see how easy it is to get into the show. So let's go up here to Old Bay Craps. And Craig, we're not talking fitness, we're talking craps, but have at it. You can have a swipe at that too.
It's what I'm doing this summer. It's what's happening. But
awesome.
I still got the Beat Old Bay every Wednesday before live fantasy craps, which is happening. It's been pretty good. This week is actually game number 10. So I am looking forward to trying to break even on my own show. I'm 4-5. So apparently it's very easy to beat Old Bay.
All right.
But thanks for letting me on. I appreciate it. I love this show. I love being on. I love being part of the panel. I'm not quick to go against other panelists the way John and Ed went tonight, but
brotherly love.
I do appreciate everything that's said.
We do want your 2 cents, though. I mean, we want all points of view. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, I'll give more 2 cents in the future.
All right.
Right now, I'm using my 2 cents to give a dealer tip.
I'm just gonna say everybody needs to go to
That's
Walmart
awesome.
and buy some Old Spice. They need to go buy Old Spice before it's all out. Because I mean, this guy over here, he's like killing it. I mean, they're selling Old Spice out. I went to Walmart today; they were out. I asked them why. They said because of some damn YouTube's guy, that was winning all this bullshit on some kind of Friday night shit. So that's all I know. I mean, you gotta go buy Old Spice quick. If you can get it, you can sell it on eBay for about 3 times the price. That's all I know.
Hey,
There you go.
I want that hand carved signature in my Old Spice.
Yeah, I mean, Old
Totally
Spice,
doing that.
Old Spice is the deal. I mean, you can forget all about Old Bay craps and all that stuff, and I know they got this incense stuff that they put in their lobsters and that kind of thing, but it's really Old Spice. It's really, really,
Incense and
truly Old
lobsters.
Spice. Yeah, that's what Craig does. Craig wants to claim it's in a bag some damn place with a bunch of incense in it, but it's really Old Spice. It's really Old Spice.
All right, let's go up to John. John, you have the floor before we head over to Dylan.
Oh
I've said
my
piece
God.
already.
Wow. So I want to go back to Arnell's question real quick because I think your rant last week, your opinion piece, I can't call it a rant. It was an opinion piece last week. Was awesome. And if you haven't seen it yet, you're in a hole somewhere. But watch Jeff's opinion piece. And I think that it all rolls back to what Jeremy has said to all of us in various forms, which is, what do you want your channel to be about? You called people YouTube whores and wanting to, be the, never lose a strategy guy, whatever. It comes down to like, what do you want your legacy to be, and what do you want your channel to be about? Right. And if you're honest about that, then what you put out there should be faithful to that. And if that truth of what you want to be is an educator or a dice teacher or having fun or I want 1 billion subs or I want to be the greatest strategist ever, then lean into it. That's what it comes down to. But you got to own
Don't be
that.
all over the place.
And I think you said it best. Own it, lean into it. We don't all have to agree or love it, but that's what you're going to do. It's what you're going to do. So I think you're the people who come here every week and watch us, and we're all leaning into what we want to do. And I think there you go. Love that shirt.
Yep.
Love that shirt.
Yep.
So that's what it's all about. I think that was so needed what you said last week. It was very, very cool. So, and again, I always say this, I'm proud to be a part of this group every week. That you have it. I'm just honored to be a part of the panel. So, I'm just a passenger here. So thanks for having me on.
I wasn't going to harp on it, but I do want to say this. Out of all the comments I got on that video and the phone calls and the text messages and the Discord messages, I was overwhelmed, and I'm a big emotional guy, and I was overwhelmed by the fact that it was received so positively, and I was prepared, as I've talked to many of them, like you, John, and Ed, that knew what was coming out, and Dylan, that knew what I was going to do. I was prepared for the negativity, and either the negativity or the naysayers are scared to say something because of what the positive side of it, or the people that aren't commenting probably don't agree with what I had to say. But there's a good thing for us to do here, and I think we should all be delivering an educational, entertaining value, and I think it takes a great personality to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, or if you're not, if that's not what you're about, then like you said, own it. A lot of times, a lot of people think we're all thinking the same things, and sometimes it's the unsaid thing that gets said by somebody that goes, okay, it's okay to say it now. And if you haven't watched it, there's a great monologue by Bill Maher that came out a few weeks back where he says what everybody's thinking from a person that you would never think would say it. And it's really, really good. Right.
And he got slammed.
He got hammered for that. But you know what?
Hammered.
It's sometimes you have to say the thing that nobody will say to get it going, right? And I told you over email and text and publicly on your channel, I respect the shit out of that. Like it's needed.
Thank you.
It's needed.
Yeah, truth hurts.
100. Well, not that it hurts. It's got to be heard. Like you can't be afraid to say the freaking truth, right? And
if I start a new channel titled "I'm ripping everybody else's shit off," is that good?
It's a great channel. I'll subscribe.
Man, I can do that. Right?
Yeah, you can.
If you're
That's
if
what
you're going to
it
go out
boils
there and
down
say
to.
this is what I'm
Nobody's
doing,
got anything
this is-
freaking original. They want to go rip somebody else's ideas off. I mean, my God, how many D8
I know.
perpetual tables are we going to see in one day? My God. I mean, it's stupid. I hate Crapsy anyway, but shit. I mean, let the guy who started it run with it. Don't copy it. That's stupid. I mean, it's just stupid stuff over and over and over. Everybody copying every damn body all the time. It's stupid. I don't care whether you watch my channel or whether you watch John's channel, which is a stupid channel. But at the same time,
no question.
I mean, watch John's channel. Don't watch mine. I don't give a shit. But
the thing is,
God Almighty, don't copy everybody. I mean, God Almighty, everybody is running freaking all these damn shit over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And I commend Jeff for blowing it up because it's stupid. It's nothing but freaking theft is what it is. It's theft. And if you support a guy who is a thief, you're damn guilty of, helping him steal somebody else's content. That's the way I feel about it.
Well, Ed, I appreciate
and
that.
You're also robbing when you steal somebody else's content, somebody else's ideas. All you're doing is you're taking money from their table, and that's not me. It's other guys, and it's happening. And there's people out there that are having their livelihood changed because people can't be creative and come up with their own stuff, and they're out there stealing everybody else's ideas.
And I did make a pretty good point about original content, and the strategies can't be can be copied because they've never been done before. That's just ridiculous. But what I wanted to do is just make it aware that there's a lot of snake oil that's out there, and there's some good and there's bad, and the people that are in our
but you're polite. I'm not. You're the
know,
host.
Ed.
I'm just the guy.
It's not that I'm polite because I had people come to me when we started several topics. And I've had a lot of people ask me, who are you talking about? And I'm not talking about anybody in particular because it goes the broad range of the groups that's in our community.
We're talking about 227 other crap channels is who you're talking about. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
They're all copying each other. They're all running the same shit over and over and over, and they're not being unique. They're not being entertaining, and all they're being is a freaking thief.
Well, I appreciate
think it comes
your
down
comments of saying that. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
So I think it comes down to this, and ultimately, as a viewer, and again, I have a channel, big fucking deal, right? I'm a fan of all of you for different reasons, and like I go to Jeff for one thing, I go to Ed for one thing, I go to Craig for one thing, and y'all serve a purpose in my life, right? And like that's I think what it comes down to is like what is your channel about? What are you serving? And that's what I get value from you on different things, right? To Ed's point, I don't need 65 different people doing the same damn thing. You know what I mean? At some point, it's overkill, number one. But you're right. Ultimately, it is theft. And we teach. I teach computer programming, right? We talk about plagiarism and theft all the time. And when you're taking somebody's brain, like their thoughts, right? That's what it is. Right. Ultimately, you're sucking out of their head what they've done and their hard work. It's kind of hard to watch, but luckily, there's enough people out there that are doing things for the right reasons and with good, brand new, original content that I think it's, we're all finding our way. We're all finding our way to some degree.
Makes me want to puke.
I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you.
Well, John, I appreciate you. I didn't want to concentrate the show on this.
No,
and
it's all
that's the
good.
reason why I ignored Arnell's question because Arnell and I had a real good conversation when we were in Atlantic City a few weeks back, and I just didn't come up and just shoot this. This was John. It was very hard for me to do that.
Oh, you took it one time. Well, the good thing about all this, honestly, the thing that makes me feel the best about the whole thing, Ed has said that my channel sucks, which is great because nobody wants to copy me. I'm the one guy that's nobody's copying because I guess I must be doing completely awful shit because nobody cares enough to make a copy of it.
I don't
The
know.
rest of
I
you
just started
guys-
Thursday Night Fights. We just started Thursday Night
Oh,
Fights.
whatever, Craig.
Can I add a rant? Can I add a mini rant real quick? All right,
Yeah,
this is
go
a
for
mini
it.
rant. It's off of the subject of copying channels and stuff. This is my own little rant. If you're playing Crapsy, I don't need to know what the hell you bet. I don't need to know what the fuck you won. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit what you won on a fucking roll. So stop putting it in the fucking live chat. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Wow, Craig, tell us how you feel.
You know,
Greg
I'm
is,
telling
Greg
you,
is the F-bomb king tonight.
seriously. With
Four
Crapsy,
times.
so
Four
I'll be honest
times.
with you. With Crapsy, I hate running Crapsy. I do it because I have to. I run
I
Crapsy
hate
mainly
Crapsy,
because
period.
if I don't, people wouldn't watch. But it's like you kind of have to do it now, and I feel like I'm kind of sucked into it. But I'm with you.
I
don't
try to
bet on
draw
it anymore. Yeah.
I try to draw the difference between entertainment with Crapsy and education with craps. You know, so that's the reason why I do what I do. I don't play Crapsy. Well, my table, I don't use the Crapsy app to do it. I'm placing my bets and talking through things. And Dylan's been on my show
Which is cool.
for hours, you know, over the years. And we talk about why we're making those bets and the comments that we get after the video, during the video, the communication afterwards, the thanks that you get for explaining. John, you get the same thing. You take a barrage of both sides every day you get done with your daily paycheck or your coffee at Craps. And you try to talk to as many as you can because dialogue is good. For this game, and I think that to be entertaining and to be educational and to have a good personality works into it. To rip somebody off and to do everything that everybody else is doing all on one channel with an ugly ass layout is just ridiculous. And
It's hard to do. It's hard to do it all.
Yeah.
It's so hard to do it all,
it is.
Jeff. It's hard to
There's
be
a lot of
entertaining and
ugly
educational
layouts
and
out
fun.
there now. That could be anybody.
There is.
That was my channel, is what I was talking about, Ed. Anyway, so let's wrap it up here, John. Anything else coming up from you out of Pro Craps? We already talked about the
Nothing new for my channels. I have a bunch of videos queued up. I'm actually taking a lot of I'm going back to taking my morning show rants and making those videos on Pro Craps channel. I'm just having fun with it. This week's going to be kind of an angry guy week, and Ed's going to be like, "Yeah, it's not a real rant."
Can I be a guest?
I'm trying to. What's that?
Can you
I
label
be
the
a
video?
guest?
For sure.
Can you label the videos Attitude Ed and then whatever the title of the video is?
Right, but I'm trying to be more. I'm trying to find, honestly, I'll be transparent because I'm 4 whiskeys in now. What's the right direction for the morning show, right? Because the Coffee and Crap show, it's like it used to be me rolling a lot of dice and playing strategies. Now it's more about my opinion and trying to. It's really becoming more about I'm just angry all the time, and I'm trying to be not swearing angry, but I'm just angry, and I'm trying to just put a stop to crap I don't like. And so that's what that show's become. And I'm trying to thread the needle of entertainment, education, and a little bit of opinion to make it work. But the paycheck show is where the actual craps is happening now for me.
Yeah, but when you talk, and a lot of people have the wrong idea about your show, John, is that they think it's your way of doing it or no way. You're rolling it out for days on a time, or now it's a month at a time, to show what does and doesn't work. And they think that they're blaming you for it either working or it's not working. You're doing something wrong or right. And I think the majority of your 65 to 70 people you got watching every day get the fact that you're trying to teach and show us something.
Well, and it's math, right? Ultimately, if you play the same strategy 30 days in a row, you're going to find every issue with it, good or bad, right? And that's the purpose of that show. The other show, the Coffee and Craft show, is I'm not trying to tell you play the skill 66. I'm saying here's a way to play that works pretty well. Here's another way to play. You got to craft your own way. I'm just trying to give you as many repetitions as I can to show you what feels good and what feels bad, and you can decide. I like feeling bad. I'd like to go 160 across and just pray. That makes me excited. Right,
but you get picked on, and you take the criticism,
I do.
and you come back with a logical response, and then you still get picked on because of what you said.
I get hammered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the amount of hate mail I get is unbelievable. You guys would cringe. Most people would cry if they saw the emails that I get. But honestly, I'm really just trying to say, I'm not a strategy channel, but I'm showing you stuff, And like, you got to make a decision. Like, this is the way I want to play or not. And I watched John do it. Like, I didn't like what I saw there, so I'm not going to ever do that. Like, if you get that out of me, that's what I want. I don't want to be Waylon and saying, here's the best way to win. I'm not. I'm saying, here's a way to win. And by the way, it's also a way that you can get your ass kicked. And you need to make the decision. I want to get my ass kicked that way, not that way. And that's what I'm hoping that you see.
You'd rather get your ass kicked on your table at home doing it 100 times than you would be walking in a casino.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
No
and that's
question.
what it's
No
all
question.
about. Yeah.
Well, all these things seem really good till you roll it out. You know, you go out in the garage and you put 150 rolls behind, you know, the Waylon's mind strategy, and before you know it, you're down $2,000 3 days in a row. You're like, well, shit, that sure seemed like it was going to be great, and then it didn't work so well. You got to see that, and I can run win craps and computer simulations all day long, but if I roll dice and put chips out there and you go, oh shit, that wasn't good. You got to see that, and you got to feel it, and like that's.
I give John credit for a lot of what he does, and the best thing he said was, "You got to decide if you're happy with what you lose on the table when the 7 comes." That's the best thing he's ever said, and all these I don't know how many episodes. But that's the one thing he said that was really, really good. You got to be happy with. Are you happy with what you left on the table when the 7 shows, right? And you talk about systems. You talk about systems. I remember I went to Paris a couple of years ago, and I sat down. I had watched this stupid ass roulette bullshit off of the channel y'all watch all the time. Y'all talk about them all. You know, they're famous. Can't lose. I lost $2,000 freaking dollars because they kept throwing green zeros and triple zeros. Now you can't tell me that a damn dealer don't have influence on that bullshit. I've seen it happen. But at the same time, no, I didn't lose that much. But I mean, it was stupid because it was a great strategy. But when they're throwing 0 and double zero, you're losing your ass. And the dealer kept saying, I never seen so many zeros and double zeros. And I said, well, it's because I'm here. And I learned it off the internet. That's what I told her. So I said, bye. But, you know, John is 100% right when he says, you got to find however you're going to play. And are you happy when the 7 comes? Are you satisfied with what you got left on the table? Whether it's $2,000 or $200. That's how you play.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And so I give John credit.
Yeah.
John made that statement, and he's 100% correct. You got to be satisfied with however you play, whatever's on the table. Are you satisfied with letting that go back to the casino?
And that's the bottom line, because bourbon drinking Ed Robinson said so because he quoted John from Pro Craps. There you go, boy.
I don't give John praises very often, but I just did.
No.
Yeah, well,
I appreciate every one of them.
This is the one show where you praised him and called him a dumbass in the same show.
Well, he is a
It's
dumbass.
like- it's like my wife.
Nobody's going to argue with that
yeah.
part.
Well,
He is a dumbass.
John,
My wife calls me.
Have,
My wife calls me
Go
a
ahead.
doorknob. She's like, "You're a fucking doorknob." That's what she calls me all the time. And
You're a
once in a while, I
doorknob.
get a
That's
hug.
I'm going to start calling you a doorknob.
Yeah, I get a hug, a little bit of something extra sometimes. Like, okay, we're still married.
I
That's
ain't
cool.
giving you nothing extra. I might give you a hug, but I ain't giving you nothing
it's
extra.
after midnight on the East Coast, but we're not going to go there. But John, you don't have to text me tomorrow and wonder if Ed's still mad at you, because you can ask him right now. Ed's not mad at you.
Oh, Ed, and I you know what? We haven't talked about this in real life yet, but I mean, I know that Ed didn't really want the hard hat, right? And but
yeah.
you
No, I did
totally
not. I
did.
still hadn't gotten it, so I don't care.
I know. Waylon's supposed to ask you for your address, but you deserved it. You earned it. And again, the hard hat is not popularity. It's like, and I made the case for you, like, hey, you interviewed guys, you put in, and I know how many hours it takes to make those freaking videos, and those videos are solid. Like, that's what it's about. It's the Dirty Jobs award, man. It's like putting in the time. Like, the time it takes to make these shows and our channels and all the things, like, people got to realize what that's about. And that's why that award to me is so meaningful. And you deserve it. You've deserved it for months now. And I'm glad you finally got it, because it does speak to the time. And you have a full-time job and a family.
I mean, it took
and you're doing this.
It took like 10 months for me to get it, so that means I suck.
It did.
Well,
Well, you know,
I'm
you had
going
to
to say
step
this.
up a little bit, I guess, right?
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I agree with everything you just said, John. Ed didn't solicit or ask for any votes. He asked not to get it. He said he didn't want it, and he still won it. With that
It
said,
was a negative
let's head over.
campaign. It was a negative campaign.
The negative campaign.
Yeah, I'm gonna head over to the creator of the show, Dylan, for the closing remarks. Guys, if you want to get in the after show, I'll leave things up. I have got to do a few things here, but if you want to come to the after show, typically it runs about an hour, but this show's gone over an hour already. Look at the chat, hit the Zoom after the show. Come to it if you want to. If not, it's okay. We'll see what happens. But Dylan, the floor is yours for this. The episode 10 of what I'm probably going to call Off the Hook, Hats and Bourbon, season 2, episode 10.
Well, I just got a few thoughts here and there, and throughout that I've put a check mark here, and I've got like 3 or 4 things I want to say. Number one, I always am busting on John to be content. This is a dovetail off of what was just said with Ed. You've got to be content with your wins. You got to be, and when that 7 does come, you have to, you got to be okay with what's happened. And so, and I always give John crap for that, and he knows that. So that's just part of it. That's part of being disciplined and banging with me. It's because I've banged my head against the wall so many times that I've learned, hey, there's a wall there, and you can't, there's a reality check, you can't live with rose-colored glasses on. So that's number one. So I completely agree with that. Again, and then one other thing I was wanting to talk about real quick was we had a discussion here about Crapsy. Crapsy is a tool to me. This is my opinion. Crapsy is a tool. I love playing Crapsy. I love being a player on Crapsy. I understand Craig's gripe. No one wants to hear other people's bets or why they're doing whatever they're doing or displaying whatever they're doing, because I don't care. It's just like when I'm on the table, on a real table, I'm not really paying attention to the other player or what they're doing and why they're doing. I'm concentrating on my stuff. So I'm focused on my stuff. I love playing Crapsy. So if there's when other channels are letting people play Crapsy and letting other players have fun, that's what it's supposed to be about. It's about being fun. It's the enjoyment of the game. It's me doing my thing. I don't have to worry about the other players. I don't care about what the other players are doing, per se. So I'm there to have fun. And so if other players are doing that and providing me that option to play on Crapsy, then I'm all for that. So I don't mind them quote unquote copying, them providing me a service to play for Crapsy. I don't have a problem with that. That's fun and that's fine. But I understand there's a happy balance. There's a happy medium there. That was my whole point, is that I'm grateful for all the different channels, because I don't want the other channels to just do away with Crapsy or stop playing Crapsy, because then that would take away my fun as a player. That's what Crapsy was designed for. Okay, so there's just a happy balance there, that you can, people can fall one way or the other, and it can be abused, and whatnot. So that's a different topic for itself. But I just want to put that out there. Another thing that I had on my mind was about the dice. When the dice are whether they're sharp or they're not. You can take it if they're rounded or got cuts or grooves or scrapes or whatever. Sometimes that can lead to trends, so if you see that, you can capitalize on that. So if you pay attention, and if they're at the end of the shift and the dice are doing a certain thing, capitalize on that. Make sure that you're paying attention, and follow the trend that you can capitalize on. So if that's all I wanted to say on that. I'm trying to think of, there was one last thing, and I can't remember what it was, but it'll come to me later. But I I had a great fun on the show. I love all the guests here giving all your opinions. This is what this is for. Please, I would like to know. I'd like to hear from John. I got one question for John on super chats here. I don't think that it's been really. I'd love for you to go over one more time with the super chats what that's going to go to and for. We haven't promoted super chats on Crafts Chat. I would like to push that a little bit, or just to put that out there that is available. For questions, those will get read immediately as soon as we can acknowledge them. That will come out, and we will acknowledge that. But what the money goes towards, some of it, I'll let John answer that. But that's one thing that since we have the subscribers to do that, I do want to encourage the super chats that will build the channel to make things better. And some of it can go for Craps for the Cure, whatever John wants to deem it for, or other things for in the future for the channel to grow as well. And I know that's part of it, but I think that needs to always be reminded about that. But go ahead, John.
Yeah, go ahead, John, then we'll wrap it up.
I'll be super quick with that. Right now, there is no super chats. The channel right now is demonetized as we sit here. And the reason for that is this. It was tied to my ProCraps account. Now, my ProCraps account, YouTube, for those of you who don't know, when you monetize your account, YouTube attaches to your social security number. So ProCraps is tied to me, which makes sense. This channel, I didn't want that. So I made a corporation. We're an LLC now called CGTV LLC that I had to re-register with YouTube as a whole new entity. So all the money and all the bank account shit is all tied up in the legal crap. So as soon as YouTube recognizes Casino Gaming TV LLC as a company, then monetizing comes back on again. So right now it's in pause. There's no money coming in. It's just on hold until that whole transition happens. It's going to take a hot minute to get there. The idea, though, so right now we've earned to this point about $730 roughly. What I want to do with that money is, I know Ed said EVMux sucks. I've had good luck with it, but what I want to do is pay for Canva, which is what we do for thumbnails, pay for EVMux, so all of us can share in those resources and stream live and use the same thumbnail generators as a group. Eventually have some sort of I'm not sure how we do it, but paying for internet for whatever, and then that's it. So I'm gonna post out a full accounting of where the money goes, and everything else goes for Craps for the Cure. It'll be a zero-sum corporation. The idea is that we pay for expenses and the rest of it goes to charity. So just like Jeff's channel, not one bit goes to me. If at some point we decide to say we're going to have more members in the LLC, then we can say, okay, Dylan and Jeff and Waylon and whoever else is going to be part of this thing. And at that point we can say, yes, we'll pay for expenses. Every channel gets a stipend. The rest goes to whatever. Right now, to answer Doris's question, it's only me. It's an LLC where I'm the manager. Until we get it done, then we bring folks in and we'll start spreading the love around. That's the way it is right now. So the org structure is just that. Yeah. Very simple right now.
I will tell you, I just tried to send a super chat and it would take it. So the super chats are back on. So maybe the YouTube has made the switch.
Well, they had me in this whole. I've got to verify something. They sent me a thing in the mail. I got to go, figure that. And the mail goes to Nevada because we're a Nevada corporation. So I've got to figure all that out. And then, like I said, that's where it is right now. Right now, it's just everything's going to go to the charity except for the few expenses that we have, which are, again, the expenses we have are Canva and EVMux. Everything else just goes to is just sitting there in the account. And the plan is like once a year, have it withdraw whatever's in the account, gets withdrawn, and it goes to Craps for the Cure unless we decide to split it up. So we have not had those discussions at all yet. Right now, it's just here. And Duracell's right. We need a board of directors. This has got to become a thing. Right now, it's like a germ. It's not even a virus yet. So we get to figure out. This is the time to start having these conversations. And I want to be as transparent as I can with the money. So I will start showing everybody the membership count, the super chat count, all the money that comes in. I want you to see where it's at. and we'll do like a once a month accounting. So I'll show all that. So I'm going to be as transparent as I can. Hope that answers the question, Skill. But right now, it just I feel like we're kind of in limbo right now.
There you go, John.
There you go, John.
Yep.
We just lost Dylan too, so
Dylan
kill that.
Yeah, I'll turn him
what
off.
happened
But
there?
you can see the super chats are working. And I think Ed said it probably 6 months ago about getting a board together. And you're right, John. But I have to tip my hat to you for everything that you've done here with CGTV. I have faith in you. I believe in you, and I think that you're going to make this into something that's not only going to be for craps, but for the whole gaming community. And at my age, I don't know that I'll be participating, when you get full-fledged out there, but you never know. And John, on behalf of me and the people that are my subscribers, my members, my viewers, we thank you for everything that you do. And I push Casino Gaming TV almost every day on my channel. With that said, guys, we are going to get out of here. If you would like to come to the after show, hit the Zoom link, and we'll let you in. Right now, nobody's there. With that final words, Dylan, you're upside down, by the way, and your audio is terrible, so I can't have you on. John, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, just thank you. Love you all. God bless everybody.
All right, with that said, we'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. I think that was the 20. I had that up there, just had it right up here, and I just lost about it. We'll see you on the 23rd, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, for the next episode, Season 2, Episode 11 of Craps Chat. Till then, guys, hey, everybody be safe and play smart.